It's time to pull up a stool and grab your spot at the bar. The stadiums are dark, the scoreboards are off, and the final whistle has long since blown. But in here, the lights stay on. Welcome to the ETB Lounge on the Empty the Bench Network. This is your official post-game nightcap, where we break down the biggest hits, pour one out for the heartbreaks, and dive into the stories that linger long after the clock hits zero. Whether you're here for sharp analysis or one last round of sports talk with the best fans in the game, you've come to the right place. The games are over, and the conversation is just getting started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Nick DiMartino. That's Kristie Wilson. That's David Weightman. That's Nate Miller. This is another edition of ETB Lounge. So how you guys doing today on this Sunday? You're having a better Sunday than Ben is.
That's for sure.
Yes, it is.
And, a better Sunday than every Boston sports fan that you know. We have a lot to get to. We have a lot to get to with the NBA playoffs. We're going to talk a bit about the Knicks and the Lakers and some of the NBA's NBA anti-tanking rule. We're going to talk about the Mets having the worst record in baseball, though they were able to pull one out today, and we get into some other big sports and some non-sports news on today's show. So the Knicks are now set to play the Sixers instead of Boston, which I think I'm the only Knicks fan on this panel. I'm still pretty happy about. I mean, I'm happy about it for two reasons. I'm happy because Boston lost, and I'm always happy when they lose. But also, I'd rather play the Sixers anyway than Boston. I mean, people talk about, well, what if Tatum didn't play? I mean, or if Tatum is out. And it's like, I don't even know if he would have been out for the whole series anyway. So we don't even know if that's true. But even then, like, I don't even know because the Celtics can still be pretty good without Tatum. We've seen it before. I would rather play the Sixers, also largely because, we get home court in that series anyway. I'm still worried about I'm still worried. It's unfortunate that the Pistons ended up blowing out Orlando today. If the Pistons had lost, I think the Knicks would have a really clear path to the finals. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Nope.
I hope the Pistons go, man. I know you're the Knicks guy, but I'm in on the Pistons. They were my pick to win the East. I think I think everyone would love a Pistons-Knicks Eastern Conference final.
That'd
two teams that haven't been there in a while, Detroit, New York. I mean, I think that's
the Knicks were there last year.
The
Knicks were there last year.
I mean, haven't been to the finals.
Oh, in the finals.
It's two teams competing to go to the finals that haven't been there in a while.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I didn't want that because I think the Pistons would have their way with the Knicks. They've had their way with them the entire regular season. So, I mean, I have no reason to believe that's going to change in the playoffs. I just don't think it will.
Yeah, and maybe the Knicks that were playing the first four games of that Orlando series, but I don't know. It felt like that kicked them into a gear that's they're not going to come back down from. I don't think they're going to falter against Cleveland or Toronto or whoever ends up winning that game 7. I don't think they're going to start slow like they did against the Magic. I think they're going to like I said, they found a new gear after going down 3-1, and I think they're just going to keep playing like that every game.
And on the flip side, I can see the Knicks starting off slow again, just like they did against Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's not even – everybody forgets, Atlanta's not that good of a team. Atlanta was tanking in the beginning of this season. They were tanking. And they traded their best player, and they still managed to make the playoffs.
surprising.
So Atlanta should not have been a difficult series, and it looked difficult for a couple of games. And if the Knicks play the way they did in some of those games that they did against Atlanta, there's no way they're getting past the Pistons. I don't think they can get past the Cavs or the Raptors, depending on whatever happens at the end of this game. I think the Knicks could definitely be vulnerable in that, in under those circumstances.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting East this year, in my opinion. Like, it always seems like in recent years the East has just been like, all right, there's like one or two teams and that's it. Like, we actually had a decent amount of depth in the East this year. I feel like Cavs, Raptors, 4-5. Those are both pretty formidable teams. Obviously, Pistons and Celtics, and then the Knicks as well. Like, this is one of the deeper Easts we've seen in quite a while, especially with the 7 seed advancing. I think it's a very fun Eastern Conference to watch this year.
It'd be exciting.
Here's how I see it. I think the West is more talented, but the East is more interesting. Because in the East, there's a lot of question marks. In the West, sure, they're loaded with talent, but it's so obvious that Oklahoma City is better than everybody else. Like, we'll get into the Lakers, but I mean, in game 1 on Tuesday, Oklahoma City is favored by 15.5 points.
Wow.
They're favored by 15.5. That's how head and shoulders above everybody else Oklahoma City is in the West. They may be more talented. They have better players than the East. But at least in the East, it's like so many different things can happen. There's so many different outcomes where you can say, oh, that makes sense. Just like with the Celtics. The Celtics going into the first round were far and away the odds-on favorite to come out of the East. And obviously that didn't happen. So, like, the East, I feel like there's just so many question marks, and a whole bunch of different things would make a certain amount of sense. Like, it would make sense to me if the Pistons had lost in the first round against Orlando, and it also would make sense if they made it to the finals. Like, either of those things would make perfect sense if it was the Pistons, because there's so many question marks about them. They were the best team in the regular season. They're also very inexperienced.
Yeah. It also kind of feels like in the West, you know, it's like there's so many good teams, right? But in everyone's mind, it's kind of like, all right, how's everything going to work out to get us to the OKC and Spurs Western Conference final? Like, the West just feels like, how are we going to get there? Not who's going to be there. The East is more who is going to be there competing for a spot in the finals. Like, the West does have more talent, and they definitely are deeper than the East, even though the East is deep this year. But it's going to be San Antonio against OKC in the Western Conference final. Like, I just don't see any way it's not.
It does feel predictable. The East feels very unpredictable.
Yeah.
But there is two things though to think. First of all, with the Lakers thing, you didn't include the Luka scenario. That's why there's 15.5. If he's playing, it's probably, I mean, Oklahoma City's still favored, but it's probably 8 to 10, maybe a little less. And number two, I don't think OKC's got an easy path to the West, because San Antonio beat them 3 out of 4 this year in the season series. I was ready for San Antonio, Denver before Denver folded their cards and went home. So they were probably the biggest disappointment in the playoffs this year, by far. Denver.
Yeah, I'd have to say so too. I mean, I think I think Denver's a whole different conversation, because in a weird way, I think that Oklahoma City is looking like what people thought Denver could have been, which is like a dynasty. Like, Jokic won that ring 4 years ago when Denver won, and you know there were a lot of question marks about whether or not Denver would become a dynasty like the Golden State Warriors. And Oklahoma City is looking like they could be a dynasty. I mean, they're by far the odds-on favorite to win the championship. And the truth is that it's very hard to have dynasties, especially when you have a player Oklahoma City has SGA, but when you have one great player, it's probably a little harder now just because of the new CBA. Oklahoma City made it work, but not many other teams are going to be able to do it in this current structure. Yeah, I think Denver I would say Denver was probably the biggest disappointment coming out of the West, although they weren't. It's not like they were expected to go to the finals.
No.
Like they weren't favorites.
Mm-mm.
No, they weren't, but they had a really good team. And in Game 7, Jamal Murray didn't show.
Yeah.
Jokic got owned by Rudy Gobert, which I think nobody saw that coming, but it
I
happened.
didn't.
Aaron Gordon didn't have the best thing. And then Minnesota, and that's the thing, too, on top of Denver. Minnesota didn't have Edwards, DiVincenzo. The three of their guards were out. And they still
Excuse me.
it's just
Yeah.
So Denver's got some soul searching, this offseason to figure out.
A
No
lot
one's
of
really
it.
scary about Oklahoma City next year.
What's
They
that?
could get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Oh God.
Because of the trades.
Ooh.
They have
Oh, the
Clippers
trades.
now.
Never mind. Okay.
They have, I believe, 11 to 13 first-round picks in the future of all the trades. The Sixers, the Clippers, the Paul George deal. Which
yeah.
they got SGA. That number 1 overall pick could be theirs this year because of that one.
Ooh.
If you look at the history, the amount of Thunder picks in the future with trades and stuff, it's unreal what they got going on in Oklahoma City.
Wow. That's
Yes.
mind
What
blown
Sam
right
Presti was able to do there and is
Yeah.
still doing there is just I don't even know if you can call it the gold standard because of how unrealistic it feels for someone to ever like replicate a haul like this again while having a team that is this good.
there. Ugh.
It's also bad management at the Clippers. When you look back, if you break down that Paul George deal alone, SGA, Jalen Williams alone, that's bad. And then you just keep going where they gave up.
Mhm.
Yeah, that will probably go down as one of the worst trades. It's not the worst trade in NBA history. It's like their version of the Herschel Walker to Dallas move.
I think the Luka
the
trade
great,
is the worst.
what they called the great train robbery, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Yes.
I think Luka's got to be the worst trade in NBA history, no?
Look at the difference he made with
Not-
the Lakers once he got there.
Well, yeah, I mean it is, but this one's worse. That one, if you break down the Paul George one compared to Luka, this one's worse because they already got a title. I mean, Luka's thing's still going on. You don't know if he'll win one in
Do you
LA.
think though that it has the potential to be worse? Because you can already say, because at least Oklahoma City won a championship and is most likely going to win it again this year. In the long run, I think it's very underrated how bad of a trade that was. That's almost, I would almost say that's the Browns Deshaun Watson trade of the NBA. If I were to
God, not that
if I were
one.
to cross sports, like that
Right.
would be the closest example I could think of.
Right.
Although I think the difference is that the Luka trade was a lot more perplexing in the moment that it happened because Luka was already a star. We didn't know SGA would end up becoming a star at the time when it happened. But in the long run, I think you can argue that that's the worst one. That could end up being the case because Luka could end up just never winning a ring with the Lakers, especially if his health is like this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're suffering hamstring injuries,
And
so
especially if the
sideline what they
West
are.
And especially if the West continues to have these dominant Oklahoma City and what they're building around Wemby and San Antonio, like that's only going to get better and attract more people there. Like the West is not going to get any easier for Luka in the next 5 years.
Yeah, especially with the way this Laker team is currently structured. I mean, like, even if Luka were healthy, I think they'd still be a little bit behind the 8 ball because, I mean, LeBron can't play defense like he used to. Luka's a liability on defense. We all know that.
Right.
So I could totally see Luka just not winning a championship with the Lakers at all. Like, it wouldn't stun me if that were to happen. LeBron doesn't have much time left.
No. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Luka ends up getting like traded to a team in the Eastern Conference where he'd have more of an impact.
I mean, I don't see that happening.
I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Well,
I see maybe it's like a free agency thing. He decides to
probably.
flip to the East, but I don't think they'd trade him away. I couldn't see.
It require them
Because at
giving
this
up
point, what do you
everything
have to give up to get Luka? I mean,
like I said,
Luka's
everything
been traded for an Anthony Davis and a Max
Anthony
Christie
Davis.
and whatever else.
I think this summer he's up for that Supermax deal, which is like a 5-year, like $240. And like you said, with the Lakers, you got to just build around. I mean, you got to build around him. So you got Austin Reeves, you got DeAndre Ayton, he is who he is, but you also then have to build on the other ones via free agents. And as I said, the question will be: do you bring back LeBron for $50-something million, which they probably will if he wants to come back? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. But as I said, I mean, definitely by now the Lakers have to rebuild. I mean, they have to build their new franchise around Luka. We'll see what happens though with the front office and stuff. But Nate said it's going to be really tough for them to win with, Oklahoma City and San Antonio alone.
Yeah, I mean, and San Antonio is only going to get better. I mean, San Antonio, assuming Wemby stays healthy. I mean, the only thing they can maybe hope happens is that Wemby doesn't stay healthy. But you know what? Oklahoma City, they're going to have to pay their players a lot, and I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this whole same team together.
For now, they're all together, but down the road, they're all going to ask for big money.
That's what I'm saying. They're all going to ask for big money, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pay all of them. So I think that could certainly be just with this current structure, it's going to be hard for that dynasty to last.
Right.
It is.
I mean, if you had a choice between like only being able to keep 2 out of SGA, Chet, and Jalen Williams, which are going to be the big 3 that you're going to have to pay the most to, and you aren't able to pay one. I mean,
I would choose SGA and J-Dub.
Yeah.
If I had to make that choice.
I think I would as well. I think you would just have to find, like, you just have to get rid of Chet. 'Cause Chet's good. Like, he's a great part of that team, but I still think they'd succeed with a center who's not him.
Right.
Yeah, I certainly think they can. I mean, look, you don't want to lose any of them. I'm just saying if I had to, I would. That is
obviously.
You got the ex-Nick.
That is who I would. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which really is heartbreaking to me. But yeah, no, Hartenstein was a really solid addition to Oklahoma City. Anyway, the NBA is. I just want to talk about this briefly. The NBA instituted this new anti-tanking rule.
Right.
It's called the 3-2-1 lottery system, where it's 3 points for a win, 2 points for a loss within 5, and 1 for any other loss. So the way I think this works is that the bottom 3 teams. The bottom 3 teams are getting they're in other words they're restructuring the lottery to prevent tanking.
Right.
And from my understanding is the worst 3 lottery records I'm misreading this. It's changing the incentives by giving teams with the 4th to 10 worst records 3 lottery balls, while the bottom 3 receive only 2. So in order to prevent teams from tanking. It's an interesting idea. I'm not really convinced this does much to prevent teams from tanking. I think it'll just get more annoying for the rest of us in all likelihood. I mean, look, I give him credit for trying something, but the way I see it is I'm not really too bothered by the tanking. And maybe sometimes, like maybe the current system would be a little better is the way I think of it sometimes. Maybe that would be better. Maybe it's better for a team like the Wizards or the Nets to potentially get a top 5 pick in the draft. And the other thing that people like overlook about tanking is that this year, the reason tanking is so prevalent is because the draft class is so good. I mean, we have 4 guys in this year's draft class that would be number 1 in most years' draft classes. So it's so franchise changing that their teams are just incentivized to tank just so they can turn their franchise around. Why wouldn't they? They'd be crazy not to. I mean, I think it's fine that they're doing this, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I guess we'll find out. But for the most part, I'm not terribly bothered by tanking when it happens. I think load management is a much more interesting conversation because with load management, it's the best players on the best teams that are sitting out. Like that's what your product is. Like it's the best of the NBA's product. Whereas with teams that are tanking, it is the worst of their product that you never put on national TV, and you're wasting your money if you go see them. The way I see it is, I think it's a less interesting conversation because that's not what people are watching the NBA for. Nobody, and also if you speak to any fans of these teams that are tanking, they're all for it. if you know any Net fans, you know any Washington Wizards fans, they're all for the tanking. They want the tanking. They're like, it's great. I want the draft picks. Like they all say that.
I think that's what happens when over the course of so many years, like I think back to like 2019, like the number 1 overall pick has just been so valuable. Like Zion, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Wemby, Cooper Flagg, Paulo Banchero, like all guys who are really heading up like new starts to their franchises. I can't for some reason think of who the first overall pick in 2021 was. But
I can't remember either.
At the end of the day, though, I mean, that is why, because since Zion, I feel like in 2019, like that number 1 overall pick has consistently been like, wow, he comes in, maybe not Zion like so much because the Pelicans were never really that great, but they come in and it's like, whoa, there's energy around the team again. Like we're starting to win some games, maybe attracting some better free agent prospects to come in and, join the organization. So it definitely makes sense why everyone wants that number 1 overall pick, but I think this year we saw it so much because everyone wanted just an outside shot at being like top 4 because of all these guys we have.
And why wouldn't they? Like, what is the point of being mediocre or below average to just not be the same thing next year? At least if you suck, you have some chance of changing your franchise, and all you need is one great draft pick, which changes the whole trajectory of your franchise. That's really all you need in basketball. That's why tanking is so prevalent.
I just don't know how the league will contain it or control it. Like, how do you know it's like, oh, these guys are violating the tanking? I mean, if you suck, you suck. I mean, as I said, if you're Sacramento, if you're the Wizards, you're known to be bad. It's just like, how do you go like you guys are intentionally tanking, we're taking away ping pong balls or draft pick. It's just like you can't.
Well, no. The way they're doing it is that they're not. The way they're doing it is that the bottom 3 records are not. Yeah. Are getting fewer ping pong balls. So it incentivizes teams to actually try and win. That's the whole reason. So I mean, because I remember with the Kings this year, they were investigated for tanking. It's like, how do you investigate a team for tanking? Like, how does that really work? Like, are you going to take everybody's phone and look at their text messages and show that they're
here?
Saying
Let's see.
The Jazz got accused of it too, and then like 3 other guys went in for surgery, and they were like, "How are we tanking?" When the one guy they got from the Memphis Grizzlies, Jackson, that deal. I think a week later he had major surgery, and they were like just accusing them of tanking. And they were like, "We got 3 other guys out for the major injuries. How are we accused now of being tanking?" And then that just went away.
It's like, tanking. 3 of our dudes are on IR. Come on now.
I mean, the Bulls were able to tank this year without anyone noticing it because they just traded away all their good players for players who weren't, and then they won like 10 of their last 40 games or something like that.
I mean, the Hawks did the same thing, and they made the playoffs.
Right,
they tanked in disguise. The Bulls did it. Yeah. And no one ever batted an eye.
And the winner of that was Billy Donovan by quitting.
Yeah. It's like, F this, I'm out of here. I can't do this any longer.
I wonder what job he'll get, like, because it's not going to be North Carolina now, obviously.
No, I think that job vacancy is full. You guys got any other ideas?
Well, just keep an eye on the playoffs to see if somebody gets. If Cleveland loses tonight and they fire, there might be a spot there. Although I think they're going to clean house.
Maybe
they're going to probably clean house in Cleveland if they don't win this game tonight against Toronto.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, they'll probably both be sent packing. So
yeah. You really think they blow it all up that much if they lose tonight?
I do. I think if they were number 1 last year, they got bounced early. You traded Garland, you got rid of him. Harden, I think, he wants like a $40 or $50 million deal. Like he'll get
traded halfway through it.
Yeah, Mitchell will, and then he'll just whatever. And then Mitchell, you could get him if you trade him, you get some good value. You almost have to not rebuild, but definitely retool in Cleveland. So,
do you think maybe it depends on how they lose? And here's the thing, though: if they lose to the Raptors, it's a horrible way to lose because if you saw the end of that game. At the end of that game 6, I mean, all they had to do was not turn the ball over. It almost looked a little bit like the way Duke lost to UConn. The Cavs had that game in the bag. If they didn't turned the ball over, and then obviously Barrett had that really lucky bounce. The ball bounced like above the shot clock, and then somehow landed in.
So like
But it was
Halliburton's
cool, though.
shot last year against the Knicks.
Yes, it was
like the same
similar.
thing.
Still cool though.
Yeah, it was very similar. So that
It was.
is one of the worst ways you can lose. I mean, I don't know what they will or won't do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they blew the whole team up.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing.
Fire sale.
Oh, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. It was there, and then it just. Oh no, I think that's the same rim too. Kawhi hit his crazy shot on against the Sixers. Like,
Right.
there's something about that left rim in Toronto in the playoffs that's just like it toys with you. Like that's what I learned on RJ Barrett.
We can't pinpoint exactly what it is.
Yeah,
It's a rim of lucky bounces.
yeah. For the home, always for the home team. It won't be for the away team. It will be for the home team.
Always for the home team. I mean, look, the Cavs are losing right now. So it looks like we're closer and closer to that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know how Harden's playing. What's that?
I was going paging Billy Donovan.
Yeah. Well, Harden is he has 5 points so far. It's only early in the
I
second.
say that.
Yeah, there's still lots of time. I'd like for the Cavs to win. I don't think I really mind who wins that series. I'm just trying to, because like I said, my pick for the East is Detroit. I'm trying to think of what would be an easier path for them. Because at this point, I don't know. I mean, both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But heading over to the West, which we didn't talk about much. The Lakers. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Lakers. The Lakers ended up beating Houston last week. I mean, that the way what was it? The way Game 3 ended in overtime when Hachimura still made that amazing play, and then LeBron hit the game tying 3.
Right.
It was totally unbelievable. The Lakers. I mean, I think it's underrated how the Lakers were able to win that series. I mean, I understand Durant was hurt for most of that series, but the one game that he played, the Lakers ended up beating them anyway. And I also think that the Lakers not having Luka hurts them a lot more than the Rockets not having Durant. Like, if LeBron had a choice between playing the Rockets with Durant and Luka as opposed to not having Luka or Durant, it's much worse for the Lakers than it is for the Rockets. So I was and Reeves didn't even play for that entire series. He didn't play. I think it was like he was out for what was it, the first 2 games? I think it was. Yeah. So LeBron was the way I see it with the Lakers now is that the rest of it is just house money. They weren't supposed to be here in the first place. They can get swept by Oklahoma City. Who cares if they get swept by Oklahoma City? They're supposed to win it all anyway. That's kind of how I see where the Lakers are right now. They weren't supposed to be there. They weren't healthy, and they still managed to get by. And if they lose to this team, if they lose to the best team in the NBA, all right, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna have their hands full in this one. I mean, that's why I said. I mean, they were a heavy favorite with Houston, and then, like you said, just all the injuries and that Game 3 one. That was the other thing you forgot to mention too. Was they were up 6 with 30 seconds to go, and that guy fouled them for 3. And then you saw the coach for Houston. I think he wanted to kill. It was like a rookie wanted to kill him. So it's just it's just this is a different team for sure with the Lakers. Like you said, that they're facing Oklahoma City. That's what I said. They're not like we're 3 or 4 deep. They're like 7, 8 deep. Oklahoma City. They're just. I mean, that's why they're defending champs.
And by the way, last night, it's not even like the Lakers just won. They totally blew them out. They blew them out. Like, the game wasn't even remotely close.
Right.
Like that's how good the Lakers have been lately. Without their best player. I mean, that's just incredible. How amazing they've been. I mean, look, I don't think it says much. Like, Durant has a reputation for choking in the playoffs and everything. I don't really think this does anything about that because he didn't play for most of the series anyway. So I don't really think it says anything about Durant. But I would say, I would put it this way. the LeBron haters are. Excuse me. The LeBron haters are pretty quiet right now.
Oh,
They're
well,
pretty-
yeah, I'd say so. To a certain degree, yeah.
Like they've got to be. I mean, just the way, just being able to beat the Rockets in 6 games without your best player. I mean, look, I think they're gonna end up losing to Oklahoma City. Against the spread, I would probably take the Lakers to at least cover, just because 15.5 points is such a big number.
Yeah.
I think, and in basketball, it's like late in games, players hit shots in garbage time and things like that. It's kind of hard to cover a number like that.
Yeah.
But I
also
you-
don't think Oklahoma City really covers those spreads. I mean, there were a lot of times during the regular season against like teams like the Hornets, they'd be like 18.5 point favorites and lose on the road or something, or at home, at home often. So I don't have faith. I have faith in the Thunder to win most of their games, but whenever they're like more than like a 11 or 12 point spread, I tend to like the other side to cover that because they just don't cover those that much this season from what I've seen.
Oklahoma City is actually, they have a losing record against the spread. They're 41-45 against the spread.
Right.
I mean, they're almost like the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs, even when the Chiefs were really good, like they were often really bad against the spread. That is kind of a common thing. Can you guess who the best team is against the spread?
Who?
I think, is it Detroit?
No.
Knicks?
No.
San Antonio?
Close, but no.
Lakers?
Wait, what am I saying? Cover percentage. Yeah. No, San Antonio's close, but no.
Okay.
I
It's
said
Charlotte.
Lakers.
Was it?
Charlotte
Was
is.
it?
Charlotte?
Charlotte? Oh my
Wow.
God. Whoa.
Okay.
Who'd have thunk
Yeah, they're
it?
59. They're almost 60% against the spread.
Oh, jeez.
And the worst is actually Cleveland.
Huh.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
Who'd you say the best was?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay.
Yeah, who would have guessed that one?
I think that kind of makes sense because like the teams that tend to have these higher cover percentages are teams that like aren't that great, but are like teams that are just consistently playing above expectation, you know. And I feel like honestly that was Charlotte this year of all the teams, like expectations going into the season to where they ended up, especially where they've been as a franchise for God knows how long. I could see it.
I mean, LaMelo Ball didn't reach expectations as a driver, but that's
No.
But they snuck up on people this year. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at that starting five with, Ball, Brandon Walker, the rookie Capel, whatever his name is.
Knipple.
Yeah, I mean, they got nice Bridges, number 0. So I said they snuck up on people, like you said. Next thing you know, they got in the playoffs. It was almost like a land in the second half. They snuck up on people, and next thing you know, they were in the playoffs. So we'll see if Charlotte can keep that team together because they might not be able to afford some of those guys when they get to free agency.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, it's a similar thing that happened with Oklahoma. That I predicted would happen with Oklahoma City. They're not going to be able to pay all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the good news for them is that they're in the weaker conference, and I could almost see the Hornets being a little bit like a team like, I don't know if next year I could see them being a team almost like Orlando.
Yeah.
Maybe like an 8 seed type of team, not the far from the best team in the conference, but I think would be able to sneak into the playoffs. I guess that's another reason why the East is just interesting, is how I would put it. Interesting. Like,
when's the last time the East has been better than the West, like as a conference?
that's a good question.
It's been long time.
Like the LeBron Heat era, maybe, but even then,
I
I
would
feel
say
like
that-
you have
I would say
Kobe
that.
and Dirk in the West and
Yeah.
the Spurs big three. Like, I don't know. I feel like the West has just been better than the East consistently for like a decade plus.
Jeez.
Longer. I mean, when I was growing up, the East was never better than the West. Never. I mean, we've had a few dominant. We've had some LeBron Heat teams. We've had some dynasty Celtic teams for a couple of years. Not even much of a dynasty, but we had like those Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce Celtics teams that we've had.
Yep.
But for most, I can't really think of a time when the East was really better than the West.
90s.
Other than the 90s. But I wasn't really alive.
Bulls, and you had the Pistons.
Yeah, the Knicks.
The Knicks with Patrick Ewing. Yeah. So that was a pretty dominant time for the Eastern Conference way back in that decade.
Yeah, I would. It's been 30 years basically.
Pretty much.
Since the East has been better than the West. And I don't know if we're exactly ever going to get to a point sometime in the next 10 years probably where that changes because of, like we said, the Thunder and the Spurs.
I don't know about that.
Well, the late
West
2000s,
is still going to be
early
pretty good.
2010s, you had the Boston-Miami thing. That was a pretty good things back and forth. Boston won some, Miami won their thing. Cleveland was mixed in. So there were some good ones there.
Yeah, but like the weird thing about it though is that like it doesn't even really like there's no real explanation for why the West is consistently so much better than the East. There's not really much of an explanation for it. It's just like that just happened to have been for like 20 years almost.
Yeah,
pretty much.
15 years.
Well, it's also it's Western teams maybe drafted better than the East. I mean,
I think they have. I think teams in the West tend to draft. I think they tend to have smarter GMs. I think that's another big thing. The East, although the truth is, I mean, the East has some fairly good GMs too, and some of these teams are rebuilding, but they're like, or they're getting very good, but they're getting there. Like they're just not totally there yet. If you look at a team like Detroit, I mean, maybe Detroit will end up being like a team like Oklahoma City for all we know.
Right.
I mean,
It's possible.
They were the best team in the East this year in the regular season. It looks like they're probably going to get better. Who knows how that's going to end up working out. I think the West this year is more – there's a lot more of the haves and the have-nots in the West. I think there's a lot there's a greater there's much more drastic differences in the West, I would say. Like if you look at the worst teams in the NBA – I mean, there's some really bad teams in the West too. If you look at like just the drop off from like the middle of the Western Conference to the bottom is huge.
Yeah, the Jazz are just perpetually terrible.
Which one?
The Jazz.
Jazz. Yeah, they haven't been good for years.
Old enough to remember when the Jazz were good.
Karl Malone, John
No, I'm
Stockton.
not talking about Karl Malone. I'm talking about like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. That team was good.
That's the other one.
I blew that 3-1 lead in the COVID year to the
first.
Nuggets. I think that was the last time they were like a threat. I feel
Yeah.
like.
I do NBA work. You do not know what suck is until you cover the Sacramento Kings. I know they did that one playoff thing. They just don't know how to put teams together. It's bad ownership, GM stuff. Like since the Weber Richmond era, all that one went. But like I just did this year, they're horrible. I mean, they had a veteran team. They had Westbrook, Zach LaVine, who was hurt a lot.
DeRozan.
Yeah, DeRozan. It just was a bad team. Bill Simmons, I think the beginning of the year, he just said he was on his podcast saying, I hate this team before they even played the game, and they lost like nearly 60 games this year. Like I said, I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan. Man, just watching him play on that team.
Jeez.
Yeah, what was the point?
They need a number one pick more than like any other franchise in the NBA.
They need it desperately.
I don't even know if that will help them because it's ownership. They had Sabonis, and then he was
they had DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, they had Halliburton.
They had Aaron Fox. It's not like they haven't had good players. They've had some really good players.
That's
wasted the talent,
one
really.
or two at a time, and that's it.
And I wouldn't count Westbrook as one of the because Westbrook is not what he used to be. He really
he's not.
He's not. But it's just like you're going there. It's just like they said. You're almost like and by the way, that DeAndre Fox move that just says about bad management. Talk about a heist that San Antonio got for him.
Yeah,
a heist.
Oh, yeah.
So
they had DeMarcus Cousins too. Can't forget about Boogie Cousins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they had some. The Kings have had some really good players, but they're just so badly mismanaged. They were pretty good a couple of years ago.
Yeah, remember that was the light the beam thing when they won the playoffs and they were shooting it from their top of their arena.
That's when Steph put up like 50 points in Game 7 in the first round.
Like I'm looking at the roster now. They have Malik Monk from Kentucky. Like I said, Killian Hayes, Zach LaVine. They got a guy named who's their star, Precious. I can't say his last name. It's like
Precious Achiuwa.
Yeah, he's like 11 points a game. Keegan Murray, DeAndre Hunter from Virginia. I mean, you can look at this roster. It's just like, it's not too bad. Dylan Cardwell, and then Maxime Reynaud. It's just, but they just can't put it together. And then their coach was Doug Christie. So I just think it's just that, like, management. And the Clippers are just a mess. Yes, and the Clippers they've always been a mess, and they always will. I mean, Ballmer, I know a great looking arena looks like and everything else, but that's another organization that will never put it together.
But at least the Clippers, the Clippers have been good. They've had good players. We've seen them make runs in the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, the Kings, we don't really see much of it. I think in some ways, I guess I would put it this way: if you were to for the talent that the Clippers have had, they've done a really bad job with it. Is how I would put it. Like, they've done a bad job with the talent that they were able to acquire. And the Kings, I think, fit that description too, for sure. But I would say
have had some runs, though, at least.
Yeah, exactly. The Clippers have had some runs, and they for most of my life, the Clippers, or at least most of my time watching sports, the Clippers have been a playoff team. For most of my time watching sports, I would say they've been a decent team. They're just terribly mismanaged.
Yes. Yeah.
They've never made the conference finals, right? Isn't that
who's that?
The Clippers. Is that still true? Have they still never made the conference final?
I think you are correct on that.
I knew that was true, but I couldn't remember if in 2021 I knew they played the Suns in the playoffs. I can't remember if that was the conference finals or not.
I didn't think so.
No, I don't recall them.
I don't remember the Clippers ever getting to even the Western Conference Finals.
They made it to the Western Conference Finals once in franchise history.
Wow.
Was it in 2021?
Yeah, it was that year.
Okay.
They lost. They ended up losing. That was the year that they lost to the Suns. That was when the Suns with Chris Paul made the.
I think the other side was the Hawks and the Bucks.
In the
East. Well, that was the year when Kevin Durant's foot was too big.
Yeah, the Milwaukee thing
against Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about a dysfunctional franchise? I mean, the Brooklyn Nets. They've got to be up there too.
They got screwed by Harden. I feel like Harden requesting that trade just kind of started the unraveling.
Yeah,
but it was also a failed experiment with Kyrie, KD, and Harden. Like, it was a good idea.
It was a failed experiment, but it didn't need to be.
It didn't need to be. They were trying to recreate the big three, and that it ultimately blew up in their faces.
That team could have been really good. That team could have won multiple championships.
Yeah,
but
it was multiple injury. COVID. It was COVID. That didn't help. And then it was just, that whole documentary story. Like, Durant was like, he just said, "Hart, where were you at?" And he just kind of, whatever it is. But
although the trade happened, they got Kyrie before COVID. They got Harden after COVID. The full big three wasn't completed until after COVID. But a lot of the issue was Kyrie with the vaccine. Although that happened to be the issue with Kyrie at the time. If it weren't for COVID, it probably would have been something else, because Kyrie was just so crazy during that time, and there was always some issue with him. And Harden doesn't want to deal with anything, and Durant didn't want to deal with either of them. I think Durant was less at fault for what happened with the big three than the other two were.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving to me has always come across as kind of like he's the absolute problem child. If he doesn't get his way, he turns into a crybaby half the time.
But he was.
Boston did that to him.
He doesn't seem like it as much anymore.
Celtics.
He doesn't seem like it as much anymore, but he definitely was his time with the Cavs and with the Nets and the Celtics.
Yeah.
He was like that with the Cavs too. He was the one who requested the trade. He wanted out.
Why not? Because he didn't want to be in LeBron's shadow anymore. He's like, I'm out.
He apparently talked to his pastor, who told it. It was something really silly. That ended up resulting in him requesting a trade.
Right.
I think that was. Although essentially that was the reasoning, was that he didn't want to be in LeBron's shadow, which is really stupid. I'd rather be in his shadow and win championships.
Yeah.
I think also to a certain degree,
Kyrie was more interesting being player 1A instead of being player 1B, being LeBron's sidekick. That didn't appeal to him at all.
Yeah,
I think Kyrie's mellowed out a lot.
He has.
I think certain things in his life, whether he's also getting older, he's like you say with money. I mean, maybe he's comfortable with money. I think also to a certain degree, I think the Kobe thing really affected him a lot because that was his mentor, was him. He even talked about. So maybe that put some stuff in perspective, and
Although after Kobe died, he was still a little crazy. I mean, he was. For maybe a couple of years after that, I would say for maybe like 2 or 3 years after that, he was still being a little crazy during that time. I think if anything, it was probably more maturity and realizing like I can't get away with this anymore. Because the issue with Kyrie is that for a while he was really enabled. He was surrounded by enablers. The teams all enabled him, and he was kind of getting away with it. And when he went to Dallas, he couldn't really get away with it anymore as much.
No.
I think he kind of realized that he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he realized he had to grow up and stop being a baby.
And then the injuries kicked in too, unfortunately, with the knees and everything. And that probably has frustrated him a little bit. But it's just probably some other stuff too. Just I think it's calmed him down, or whatever, it's mellowed him out. I guess that's the word it is. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did he go right from Brooklyn to Dallas? Like, was his career path just like Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn, Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay. Wow, he's been in Dallas a lot longer than I realized then.
Well, it was right after his time with Brooklyn.
Yeah, and that's just – it's been a while since he's been in Brooklyn, so that's why I thought there was another team in between Brooklyn and Dallas, you know?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he's with the Mavericks.
It's 4th year in Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 4th year in Dallas. He's been there since 2023.
I can't believe it's already been 4 years.
Four
How many
Dallas.
games has he played for Dallas in those 4 years?
How many games? I can tell you right now. I'm counting it right now. It's been 168. Played 40. Woo! He played 40 and 22. In 23, he played only 20. Oh no, that was the trade thing. Sorry, let me take that back.
Oh, okay.
He played 60 that year. That was the trade from Brooklyn to Dallas. Played 58 in 23-24. 24-25, he played 15, and he hasn't played at all this year because of the injury.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
I'm excited to see how things unfold in Dallas with Cooper Flag and Kyrie Irving once Kyrie Irving's healthy. Like, do I think they're going to be like insane? No, but I think like Cooper Flag getting to learn from Kyrie Irving is going to be really beneficial for his career and just make him a better player. Like, because obviously he's learning from him, but getting to like play on the floor with him and like being able to like talk with him during the games and stuff is obviously just a whole different level. So I'm excited to see how that makes Cooper Flag grow, but I don't think Dallas has much else going for him.
No, I'm looking at their roster now. There's not much. It's a rebuild down there.
It's sad.
Yeah, they're going to make a lot of 30 for 30s about Dallas.
I mean, they could have traded Luka for so many other players, and they chose Anthony Davis.
Or better yet,
the dude with a unibrow.
Better yet, they could have just not traded him at all.
But I'm saying, like, if you're gonna do it, you can get some guys. Like,
you could.
Anthony Davis is like not like he's made of glass. Everyone knows this. Why would you trade?
He's fragile.
And then
breaks if you blow on him too hard. Like a hard gust of wind snaps him in half.
Snap.
Yeah, and it's not even like we didn't know this when they traded him. And one of the reasons they wanted to trade Luka was because he was injury prone. When Anthony Davis is way more injury prone than Luka was.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was also I think they were frustrated with him with his conditioning, his weight ballooning up, and it's one of the things they should have just pulled him back and just said, look, we're going to get you got some guys there, whatever else. And also, like I said, I think when you all season he was smoking and whatever else. Yeah, he said that's one of the things they should just have pulled him aside, had a meeting with him and saying, look, we're going to go get guys, but you got to get yourself in shape. And you've almost like put in his contract. You would have done that if he does this and he still brings up, you just suspend him.
Right.
That's all they needed to do, trading him away because he was a little out of shape. And by the way, they were still, even with Luka a little bit out of shape, they were still able to make the finals. Like, it's not even like they were a bad team when Luka was a bit out of shape.
Well, there's that legendary video where he was drinking the beer after he won the conference, and Michael Finley took it away from him. You can see on his face, like, he's taking my beer away from him.
Yeah.
It's like, give me my beer now.
Yeah, but I mean, he liked to, like you said, when it was the off season, he liked to drink and eat, and I guess, like you said, after a while, they got tired of it, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still kind of a stupid move. And also, with the Lakers, I think he's just in a different situation. Playing with LeBron, I think LeBron keeps his teammates in check just as a leader. And also, I think that the Lakers, and something tells me that the Lakers staff is probably a bit more competent than the Mavericks staff, because that doesn't seem to be that much of an issue. I mean, he has issues with his health. He doesn't seem to be like super fat right now with the Lakers.
No.
I mean, it was obviously something they could have just had. They could have gotten under control, but they decided to just give up on him when he was in his prime. Crazy. So I want to talk about the NL East. The Phillies fired Rob Thompson this week.
Right.
Their manager, and now the Mets also have the worst record in baseball. I would say, what is going on with the NL East right now? Are they like the bottom of the barrel division? Other than Atlanta, unfortunately, they're the bottom of they're just like the dregs of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They're bad right now, but I mean, I think the Phillies are going to start to be back on the up. I think they needed to fire Rob Thompson, and this slow start opened the door for them to do that. I mean, I think Mattingly is going to be better, and it's easy to say that because obviously I honestly don't know if they won today, but I think before today at least they had won like 4 straight, so maybe it's 5 straight now under Mattingly or something like that. Like, they're playing well. And I think part of it is just like they needed a change. So do I think the Phillies are going to become an insanely good team? No, not in the slightest. But I think they're going to play better. However, I think the weakest division is honestly probably the AL Central. I think that is just a much worse division because you don't even have like an Atlanta caliber team in that division right now.
Nope.
Yeah, the best team right now is the Guardians, and they're barely above 500.
Yeah. I mean, and you could say the same thing about the AL West, too. I think the Athletics are right around 500, too, leading that division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. They don't even have
the fact that they're in a little stadium in Sacramento while their big stadium gets built in Vegas.
And then, you got the NL Central where my last place Pittsburgh Pirates are 3 games over 500.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the baseball thing, the AL East is I don't think anybody expected to a certain degree how bad Houston would play this year. But when you lose Valdez and pitching, that didn't help. The Angels is still the Angels. I mean, no wonder they're so bad. And then Seattle's been disappointing. Because they have a great pitching staff, but you think, the hitting's going to come around, and they just haven't been clicking either. So it's interesting with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mets have to be the most disappointing team of all. They've got to be.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They have.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Nick Morganson, for putting that in there.
Yeah, I didn't play it. I don't know who played it.
I did. Okay. I wanted to. But I wanted to wait until you guys were done talking.
Here's the question that I have.
Yeah.
About the Mets. I mean, look, they have the second highest payroll in baseball behind the Dodgers.
Right.
Having the worst record in baseball with the second highest payroll is just unacceptable. Do you think that the Phillies going on a run after they fired their manager would maybe inspire the Mets to do the same thing with Mendoza?
Yeah.
I mean, this is close to home. They see it across I-95. Do you think it's possible the Mets will see that and think, maybe we should do the same thing?
Yeah.
It sounds good, but you're also talking about upper management. You got one guy's probably saying, we're going to stay the course. Everything's fine. And then you got an owner who's more concerned about the casinos and more concerned about the buildings being knocked down behind the outfield wall so they can put up the parking casinos. And then also, I don't know if he's involved with the new soccer stadium they're building over the right field wall.
Oh my God.
But for that, so I think I think Cohen is focused on everything but his team, and Stearns is probably his ear like, we'll get this straightened out, whatever else. And the thing that also he's probably looking at too is the injuries. First Soto, then Lindor, then the pitching. Now Senga just went down, and then it's just constantly, it's just like you said, you would think though they would go, yeah, we'll fire him and we'll bring in whoever maybe, but maybe Alex Cora doesn't want to go to the Mets because he's like, look, I got $12 million in my back pocket from Boston. I'll hang with my family. I don't want to be involved with the Mets.
Right. Yeah. Like, nope, not going to go over to the team that plays a Citi Field in Queens. Forget it.
It's not that I blame Mendoza specifically. I think it's more Stearns than it is Mendoza, without question, because Stearns is the one who structured the roster.
Yes.
He's the one who structured the whole roster, and that's way more on him than it is on Mendoza, because I don't think that baseball is like football, where the coach has, like in football, a head coach, especially in college, has a really, really big impact on how the game goes. Just from structures and everything like that. In baseball, it's a little different. Baseball's a little simpler. It's like, are your guys hitting?
Right.
Your pitchers have it today. And a lot of that has nothing to do with the manager. This is the same guy who got all the credit when the Mets went on that crazy run almost 2 years ago now.
Right.
And like, which manager is Carlos Mendoza? Is he this manager? Is he that manager? The truth is he's somewhere in the middle. He's neither of those. But Stearns is the one who constructed the roster. So I think if anybody needs to be fired, it should be Stearns. And that's the reason why. Like, it has way more to do with that than it does with Mendoza's managing.
Right.
Yeah, because if it's a player issue, like the front office is saying it is right now, well, then get rid of the guy that put those players on your team. I mean, Mendoza can only do with what he has. Like, he can't just be like, oh, I just made Carson Bench 10 times better. We're going to be good now. Like, no, you have to find a player that's 10 times better than Carson Bench to improve your lineup. So I agree that it's not fully on Mendoza, but I do think the Rob Thompson firing is going to it's just going to put more heat under the Mets to make a move, because it's like division rival in the same spot kind of as you. They fire. Are you going to try to keep pace with them? Oh, no, you're not firing. Now it's just more heat on the Mets.
I actually got a question for Nick, and this is I noticed it last week when they were home. So Bo Bichette looked like he was in hell in the dugout. Here's the question I'm going to ask you. Bo Bichette, is he a Met next year? I don't think he's going to be, because he's got the opt-out clauses in those contracts.
If things keep going the way they do, no. No, I don't think so.
I think he wants to be happy. He's like, I'm great. I'm making $40 million a year with the Mets, but he's like, I'm miserable right now. That's what I said. And everybody's pointing the finger at me because of the contract, which you understand because you're making the big bucks. I just think he's just going to go, I'm miserable here. Like, it could be the clubhouse is bad. This is bad. Whatever it may be. I just think when I just saw that, he was there by himself. There was nobody else down there. And I went like, this dude is already checked out, or he wants to check out, and it's only April.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that's a pretty significant thing. It really is significant if players are simply just unhappy. And with the Mets' current situation, you could be making $100 million. You're not going to be happy in that situation.
Yeah. And also, you were saying about the fire. But
who do the Mets deal at the deadline this year if they're still bad?
Let's see.
Well,
I can't think of anybody myself.
Who would have good value right now on the Mets?
I think maybe Lindor, but I don't even really know.
Or at the deadline? That's not happening.
No, he's too much. I always think if you're looking at I don't know their contracts, year stuff. You look at Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
He's a vet, been there before.
He's not having a great year, though.
No.
Yeah. Maybe you start looking at the bullpen. Granted, Devin Williams is having a horrendous year, but
Devin Williams is horrendous. He's every bit as bad as he was last year with the Yankees.
Yeah.
But is there a Miller reliever?
I think the best part about Devin Williams, and I just like this, I just think it's funny, is that he's the reason the Yankees changed the facial hair policy.
What are you
I
talking
remember
about?
all those days they would tell people
Yeah,
cut
they're
your
telling you
hair,
the reason-
shave
Oh.
your face.
Change their facial hair policy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
He was the guy? Wow, I never knew that.
But now Garrett Cole gets his beard back, so that's good for the Yankees.
There you go. Okay, that makes sense.
How would you? All right, Nick. Here's another one. I was looking at the roster in terms of guys being dealt. How would you feel about either of the following guys being dealt? Beatty, Polanco. God, that's tough for that. Yeah, those are the hitters. I didn't see the. I'm going through the pitchers now, but those two. I was like, oh, there's another one who's up for it. Freddie Peralta. Didn't he get? He's not. He's still a free agent at the end of this year, right? He hasn't signed.
So, I mean, I would be totally fine with dealing Polanco. We don't need him.
Okay,
I mean, he's
Polanco will get you some decent return too.
but what about Peralta?
I don't know. Peralta hasn't really been all that bad, though. I mean, I'd be okay with. Here's the thing. I'd be open to dealing anybody. It's similar to what I said about the Knicks. I'm in favor of dealing anybody if we can get a good enough deal, including Cat. The only player off the table is Brunson. With the Mets right now, the only two players off the table are Lindor and Soto. I'd be willing to deal anybody if we can get a good enough deal. But I mean, Peralta hasn't really been the problem this year. I mean, he is 1 in 3. But his ERA is only like 3.52. He has 42 strikeouts. He really hasn't been all that bad.
And it's not that. Here's the situation. Of course, they gave up 2 really good prospects for him. But the thing is, at the end of this year, he's unrestricted. He's an UFA, as I call it. So that's what I mean. Like, if he's not going to sign him, or you're not going to, give him 4 or 5 years, big money.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you have to flip him at the deadline for.
I guess the way he's playing right now is good enough to the point where you might want to deal him because he can get enough value, but also not good enough to the point where you want to give him a big contract. So maybe that would be a good solution.
Doing nothing is your worst enemy if you're the Mets. Like with Freddie Peralta, you either if you don't trade him, you should be expecting a re-sign if you're the Mets. Granted, they're still in this same position where it looks like there needs to be a fire sale. Like, obviously, if they start playing better, things change. But I think you have to deal Freddie Peralta. I think it's a must because you're never going to find a team pushing for the playoffs that's going to be like there's never going to be a year on the trade deadline where it's like, wow, yeah, no one wanted to trade for a starting pitcher this year. Like, you're going to always find a team that's competitive with some prospects that you're able to trade a starting pitcher for because everyone's always trying to bolster their rotation when you get down to October.
You know who would be a nice, interesting team to trade for? I mean, it would be an incredible, starting rotation, but they're also maybe going to lose one after next year is the Detroit Tigers. Because they're probably going to lose Scooble after this year. Because of So that's what I mean. You get Peralta, and they got a good farm system. You're not going to trade McGonigal for him, of course. But, I mean, you could just you get some other guys, then I would lock him up. And also Verlander's done at the end of this year. See, he's with the Tigers. He's got a 1-year deal.
I've heard a lot of people not be super if you can extend Freddie Peralta, I think maybe you could and get someone else from the Mets potentially. I think you could look at dealing like Max Clark if you're Detroit or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Going back, look, the Mets are in a position now. They're batted up. The Mets are in a position now where they're going to need prospects, and it would make sense for them to trade players for prospects because that's what teams with bad records do. They trade current players for future players. And, the Mets have been in this position multiple times, and it looks like they're in it again. Unfortunately, it looks like they're in that position again. I think I'm open to anything. I think dealing Polanco, I think it's fine. Peralta is fine if we get good enough. If we can get good value for them. I don't know what kind of value we can get from a player like Polanco or Simeon. We could probably get something. Neither one of them are really having great years. That's really just the problem. Is that they're not really having great years, and it's going to be tough to get good value for them.
Right. The probably your bigger haul will be Peralta. If he just goes, look, I'm not going to re-sign with you guys. I know I'm unrestricted. I would just encourage you to trade me and get what you can for me. I'd be all for it. That's why I said because they gave up 2 hitting prospects for him. They went to Milwaukee, right, for him that deal. Yeah. So like you said, they made some really bizarre moves. Like I said, that Nemo trade, I don't understand. I'm a Philly guy, but as I said, I always thought he was a good leadoff guy and hitter and everything else. I was surprised they dumped him. But and then you heard the rumors that supposedly Lindor and McNeil didn't get along, and then of course they sent McNeil to the A's. So
I think they probably would have traded McNeil anyway. He was terrible last year. I was okay with not keeping Nick McNeil around.
Right.
I was okay with not keeping Alonso around too. I was okay with that. I think Alonso is one of the more overrated players in baseball. I think he's a good player, but look, he's very inconsistent in terms of his batting average year to year. I mean, he's a first baseman who's not good on defense, that can't consistently hit 250. Like, you can't even rely on him doing that. And it's like, sure, he's a power hitter, but there's a lot of power hitters. Like, you can get a lot of different power hitters. Now, the way they went about it afterwards was not good. But I don't know how many. Like, look, what is his contract with the Orioles? His contract is 5 years, $155 million.
right.
I don't think he would have been worth that for the Mets. I don't know if he has 5 good years left. He's not even having a good year now. It would be one thing if he went to the Orioles and was just killing it, but he's not. He stinks just like everybody on the Mets does. So, like, why should I believe that he would be so much different if he was on the Mets this year than playing in Baltimore? Like, I really just don't have any reason to believe that. I don't really think losing Alonso was the issue. Losing Nimmo was obviously much more of an issue. Look how great of a year he's having in Texas. That I think was definitely a misstep for the Mets in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, Alonso's only hitting 205 right now, 6 homers on the season, 22 RBIs, and then you look at Nimmo's numbers. He's hitting 302 and only 4 home runs. He's got a WAR of 1.1 already. I mean, Nimmo's doing 38 hits already for Nimmo this year.
Just I checked. I was looking at Alonso's box, stats for the year. This is amazing. 126 at bats. He struck out already 36 times, or 28.6%.
Wow.
That's a lot. He had a stretch where I think it was like 20 at bats. He struck out like 14 times. Like, he had a real bad stretch this year of ball where he was just striking out a ton. So maybe he's just trying too hard. But they got a good lineup down there in Baltimore, so he shouldn't be. Yeah.
Well, the thing, and it's also like a hitter. It's also, from what I understand, like a hitter-friendly park and all that.
Oh yeah.
Or hitter-friendly division.
Right.
And
they moved the fences in.
Yeah, but also it's just like, I don't like, if you look at how bad Lindor's been this year so far, and how bad Alonso has been in Baltimore. Now, it's a fallacy of a predetermined outcome. Who knows what would have happened had he stayed in New York? But why don't you look at what actually is happening right now, as opposed to this fantasy scenario of what would have happened had he stayed here? It's probably closer to what's actually happening now than this fantasy scenario of him staying in New York. And you know what? Met fans forget how done they were with Alonso until he hit that home run against Milwaukee. Because we were done with Alonso at that point. Everybody was fed up with him. People just don't remember. He also dropped a pop-up earlier in that game at one point. People don't remember that either. Like, in that, like, up until that point, Met fans were just like, Alonso, we are just done with Alonso. Up until that point, and then he had that great, then he had that go-ahead home run, and that's just, from that point on, that changed everything. And last year he had a very good year with the Mets, but that's like, he doesn't consistently have good seasons. He's not consistently hitting well.
Right.
He can hit home runs, he can hit for power, but he can't consistently hit for average. And a lot of guys can hit for power now. Like, it's not even that big of a deal anymore. And he's not a good defensive first baseman. If anything, he's more of a DH. He's more suited for that. So and he's 31 years old, I think, or 30 years old. 31. So for a 5-year deal for him, it's just like, you're going to commit to him until he's 36? Like, I don't know. I just don't think that would have been worth it for the Mets in reality. And we would have been in the same position right now, and we'd be spending a lot more money. The issue that I had with the Mets in the offseason was losing Nimmo and losing Diaz. And at least in Diaz's case, it was to the Dodgers. And the Dodgers outbid everybody. It's like, or you lost to the best team at outbidding other teams. Like, I can't even get too mad about it. But the Nimmo trade was you voluntarily traded Nimmo for Simeon. That's that's a trade you initiated that you made on purpose, which made the team worse. Like, that's the one that was really bad.
Yeah, the Diaz one though was only $3 million between the Mets and Dodgers. I just think he was just like, the vibes are probably players probably say go to LA. The vibes are different. Dave Roberts and where else, and you don't have that stuff going on in Queens.
Yeah,
and you like to see it. Wasn't like it was like a $20 million range. It was only $3 million.
Yeah. Well, how do we know though? Do you think it's possible that the Dodgers gave him the offer and said take it or leave it? Don't use it to negotiate with the Mets, and Diaz just took it.
I just think he just took it. He sold the thing, and he's seeing it's a winning attitude. They're winners, so it's like I'd go out to LA and just enjoy it, and maybe he's got a lot more friends there than the Mets.
Yeah.
Better weather.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to get out of Queens. Honestly, I don't think it was too much about the money for him. I think it's
move to sunny Southern California.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at like how Lindor, like his mental game has been recently too. Like it just hasn't looked like he's been there. I attribute part of that to whatever the behind the scenes stuff is that's going on with the Mets right now. I think it's a bad scenario, but I think people are actively trying to get out of Queens. They brought some guys in, but those guys they just brought in, I think, are already starting to be like, and I don't know why. I don't know what the stigma is around the Mets for this to like be consistently happening, where it seems to go through periods like this. But that's just the reality of the situation at the moment.
I mean, the Mets. If you look at Lindor, it's like, why is Lindor so bad in April? Like all the time. This happens all the time when Lindor is just so bad in April, always gets off to these slow starts. I don't really understand what is going on and why they were never able to figure it out. Because first year in New York 5 years ago, he was horrible in April.
Right.
I mean, way worse than he is now. Even worse than he is now. I don't know what it is with Lindor always getting off to these slow starts.
But I've never seen him. This isn't just a slow start. Like he was like forgetting how many outs there were, getting picked off at first base. Like his mental game wasn't there for the first time, which I thought was the big like, ooh. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he, especially given the Mets aren't playing too well right now, that if Lindor was maybe out a little longer than he needed to be, to simply just be like, all right, you're on injury, but like we need you to just sit out and like get your head right.
Well, part of it was his injury. He probably wasn't totally healthy. But also some of the things that were happening couldn't be explained by that. Like you said, the mental errors, not knowing how many outs there were. Like that's not because of an injury. That's something because your head's not there.
Yeah.
Well, that whole off season.
Yeah.
And he's played enough baseball to where like he can't blame spring training for stuff like that. Like if you're like fourth, fifth year in the league, sure, maybe I give you a pass if you like say like, oh, no spring training hurt me in that regard. But you've been in Major League Baseball so long and playing baseball so much throughout your life. Like no spring training isn't why you're making these mistakes. Like spring training does not fix these mental problems that he's having right now. It just doesn't make a difference.
All up here.
Well, I think it's two things. Number one, it's that contract for like 10 years at $340.
Yeah.
And then number two is what Nick will probably notice. The off season, he was supposed to be the captain, and then Cohen says, "We're not doing this." So he probably thought, "Wait a minute, you're taking this away from me, and then something else." And then they traded, like you said, they traded his buddy Diaz away, or they sent Diaz away, and then there's all the off. Like you said, you get the stories about him and McNeil, and then this one, like, everybody's pointing the finger at him, and maybe a lot of it's just like you said, it's got to be in his head. Like I got all this pressure because, like, would he be the same guy if he was playing it? Like you said. Did great in Cleveland. Like, see if he was playing. I'm trying the Rockies or the A's. Would he have the same pressure? I don't know if he would.
I think that's why the Mets we're gonna see Lindor get traded. Honestly, within the next I'd say 3 years.
Oh, jeez, where would he go?
Well, 3 years. A lot of that depends on what ends up happening in those 3 years.
And also,
the Dodgers are still winning. They'll be like, "We'll take them. We don't care."
Even if the Mets are playing good, I just don't. I think Lindor needs a change for his game. I mean, they used to call him Mr. Smile because all happy and loose he'd look on the field when he was playing with Cleveland. And it's not like a shot at the Mets, but it's literally like he started playing under those bright lights in a big market, and that all just like has faded. Like that is not his personality anymore. So I think he needs to be traded to like a bit of a smaller market team where he could kind of reignite that passion he has for the game, just kind of play it. Don't worry about the big storylines and the media and all the other BS that comes along with playing in a big market. Like, I don't think he would go to a Dodgers because I don't think he would want to play in a team where like the expectations and pressure are super like weighing.
Well, I think
San Diego would probably be a good fit for him.
Well, I don't agree with that completely because I don't think he'd have nearly as much pressure if he played on the Dodgers because he wouldn't be in the same position if he was on the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's a good point. He
wouldn't be like the leadership guy. He wouldn't be the de facto captain of the Dodgers. He'd just be another guy on the Dodgers. So
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a
good
point.
That they have.
And if the Dodgers don't win the World Series, first of all, there's a very strong likelihood they're going to go back. And they're not going to blame it all on Lindor. Like a lot less weight would be on his shoulders. Like if Lindor played as bad as he is now in LA, there would be way less people.
Well, the other issue too, if say hypothetically you trade him, you also got to eat $32 million per year.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And that's it. And the thing is the contract or the thing up next year with the MLB stuff. With
the strike and everything. It's going to be happening.
So that's a whole nother animal with the strike.
Yeah, because he's not a free agent until 2032.
Oh, jeez.
Like it feels like he's stuck in Queens. Like
what's that?
Like I feel like he's stuck in Queens. Like the way I perceive Lindor is that he's stuck. Like he needs a way out. Like the Mets, I think, need to part ways with him because there's just like you can get a good haul back for Lindor depending on who you go with. Because I bet a lot of people will be willing to bet that he just needs a change of scenery. And they'll make a deal like they're trying to go after a Lindor like the way he was playing with Cleveland or early when he was playing with New York. So, I mean, I think it's smart for both parties if you just ship them off somewhere because you're gonna get a good return. And I think it's just better, like I said, better for both parties.
But like when, like you say, within the next 3 years, it's like everything changes. Everything will be so different in 3 years.
Like ideally, like I would.
Baseball will be different. Like it's probably gonna be post lockout. Who knows what everything's gonna look like at that point? So it's just hard to predict that far in the future.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like if I had a say in it, like when I was talking about who do the Mets trade at the deadline this year if they suck, I threw out Lindor because I believe that should be one of their plans of attack. Ship him to a postseason contender that can use a switch hitting shortstop, bolster up some prospects for yourself when you're coming off back-to-back down years, and then just, kind of reset yourself. You'll have the money to spend in free agency now, especially if you alleviate a decent chunk of this $34 million a year you have to pay to Lindor. If they're still bad come the trade deadline, if I were running the Mets, I would be shopping Lindor to all the other 29 teams.
Yeah. That would be pretty wild. But I think there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of different layers with the Mets. But I think the bottom line is in 2027, Mendoza will not be the manager and Stearns will not be the GM. They're just going to have to make a change in both departments, and especially at the GM because he's the one who constructed this team. And that really ultimately, I think, is where the buck stops. But I think both of them will be gone at the end of the year. All right, so
definitely changes.
Where also I don't know. We didn't talk about this yet. Totally different subject. Live Golf completely collapsed. Apparently, they lost funding from the Saudis. So I guess now I don't know much about Live Golf. I don't know much about golf at all. I do know Live Golf is very controversial and everything. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this with Live Golf coming to an end.
Oh, no,
I think
just based on. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
No, I was going to say, based on what Nick Morgeson and Callum McClurg said on Press Row when they did their Red Alert episode about Live Golf completely collapsing, I thought it's just insane. They're losing losing funding like they did.
I think the whole complexity of that changes if DeChambeau makes the cut at the Masters too. I think just the Live golfers who have been playing in the majors recently, Rahm, DeChambeau, they haven't exactly been doing anything great. You had Brooks Koepka leave them and come back. I think everyone is just it's ran its course of the point where the whole point of Live Golf was it was going to become this new big rival to the PGA Tour, and it was going to be more fun, geared towards the younger generation. But then as this went on, YouTube golf popularized and everything, people watching it online. And then they realized, even after all that, getting the younger generation, in the online mode into golf, they were still gravitating towards the PGA Tour events and the majors over literally anything that Live Golf had going on. So when that youth movement did happen that I think golf as a whole wanted and needed, it still went to the PGA Tour. So I think it's just we're at the point where the experiment failed and the Saudi funding realized that just about the same time as everyone else. And they were like, well, what's the point of continuing to put money into something that's never going to surpass the competitor, ever?
I think
you don't have the names either. No one's going to join you. The only thing you're going to have right now is more people leaving. You're not going to have anyone that wants to join you. You're just going to have to worry about keeping what you have, which is not a good position to be in.
Excuse me.
It's interesting to me because there's a couple things. Well, I feel like Liv wanted a merger.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, and they could be at the table and talk golf. PGA was they just reset a little bit, got the young guys, and if you notice, like you said, they haven't skipped the beat. It's okay, we got rid of some of the older ones. The younger guys are playing great, and it raised the purses. Did this. The one thing that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on when this thing crashes and burns for Liv, DeChambeau and Rahm might go back to the PGA. They gave them an offer, the same thing Koepka got, and they said no. Now, did they double it, or they just go you have to go to the Corn Ferry Tour and earn your card back? That's what the thing is. It's for the kids.
It is?
Yeah, it's that's what it's called. It's for to earn your card. So the thing, because imagine if you're a younger guy who got his card this year from PGA, and then all of a sudden these two come back and they're like, what happened to us? And it's they had that issue before with Koepka back, and they were like, no, you're not losing your card. He's just going to pay all this stuff, and he's just going to be added. But these two were defiant, no, we're staying. Now it's a whole different thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how with those two, what they do with them. Because it sounds like Liv is done after this year.
Yeah, it sounds like it too. That's what they get for making a deal with the devil.
My brother still went to it, actually. They played it down in Virginia. He said it's fun. It was $30, but he just said it's this, and there was not many people there. And he just said their TV deals were on I don't know what you call it, CW. And
yeah,
it was
CW. I heard about that.
It was less than 0.5 or whatever. It was nobody was watching it because there was no TV deal. There was no CBS, ABC, NBC. They might have had on Fox once in the blue moon, but there was no big TV deal.
No.
Yeah.
So.
And they never seem to do a real good job at promoting anything about it. I know nothing. I'm pretty keyed in on golf stuff. When I scroll social media, I get golf stuff. I never get anything about Live Golf. There's something coming up or this crazy thing just happened. I don't know if because there's nothing happening and nothing important happens in Live Golf, or if it's just because the quality of play pretty much top to bottom is not that good. Isn't Phil Mickelson in Live too?
Yes.
Yeah, that was just supposed to pay off his gambling debt that he had.
Right. And it's not. Yeah. And if Liv goes under, he's not going back. He burned bridges.
Yeah.
Burned bridges.
I mean, you have
Dustin he didn't
Johnson
invest in Live, or else that's not going to help his bank account either.
It's not.
Yeah. Unless they go, those guys go back to play overseas. They have Dustin Johnson, they have Haddon, they got that tour overseas, the European tour. Maybe they go there. I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens with a lot of that thing goes on. Yeah, Mickelson will just go away.
Yeah.
So it looks like somebody has a question here, and here it is, which is why fans in the NBA, they are not passionate as fans in Europe. Basketball fans in the NBA, they go to watch the NBA game just for chilling and drink as they watch movies and cinema. That doesn't sound like a question.
Well, I don't know who this person is or where they are from. I don't know what would make you say that NBA fans are more passionate in Europe than in the NBA.
I've seen the video, like Jokic talked about, like Serbian stuff. It's pretty wild. You see some of those games in Europe. It looks like a rock
NBA
concert.
games,
huh?
Yeah.
Because I know they're very passionate about soccer in Europe. Is how much of a thing is that for the NBA? Because I know in the NBA they play games in Europe a lot to introduce them to the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know. I haven't been to Europe in a very long time. I don't talk to that many Europeans. So I don't really know how true that is. It probably depends on the country, I would say. I can imagine maybe in like Serbia, they're very passionate because a lot
of Serbian talent has come to the NBA.
France too. There's a lot of NBA talent in France.
Wendy's area. Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
Germany. Dirk Nowitzki.
But I don't know if I would say that this person's from France. So
from France.
It could just be true that maybe it's a thing in France.
It could be.
Because every country is different. So just because they're more passionate about it in one country doesn't mean it's like that everywhere. I can't imagine basketball in, say, Italy is really that big. It could also be true that it could also be the case though that like there's a smaller number of NBA fans in France than in, say, the United States. But those particular fans tend to be much more passionate. That could be the case. Like if you look at hockey fans, there's far fewer hockey fans in America than there are football, basketball, or baseball fans. But hockey fans are the most passionate. Like like Ranger fans, I can just talk about my market.
Right.
Ranger fans are crazier than Yankee fans, Jet fans, Giant fans, crazier than Knicks fans, crazier than everybody. But there are far fewer Ranger fans than there are Yankee fans and all those other teams. So that could be the case in Europe too. This person's even the ticket in the NBA is so expensive, about $300. In France and Spain is €30, which is about $35. That could just very much. That could just be. Well, that depends on who's playing there.
Yeah.
And where I think that depends on who's actually playing because if you're
Hornets Wizards won't run you $300 unless you're like offering to play or referee the game.
And what kind of seats you get. So I mean, it's easy for us to go to really support our team. Well, what team? My question is, what team do they root for in France?
Probably Spurs. I'd have to.
Probably because of Wembanyama, probably.
But there's been a whole lot of
Tony
French
Parker
players.
used to play for the Spurs.
But never like Wemby. Like there's never been like, oh, that's the French guy dominating the league right now. Like I feel like that's Wemby for the first time. I know they were big on like Evan Fournier back when he was playing. Like I know they'd root for him. So
Tony
if they're
Parker?
rooting for him somewhat passionately, I feel like they're going all out on Wemby.
No, Tony Parker played for France.
Rudy Gobert.
Right. Oh, so then it has to be the Spurs.
It has to be.
But
the
I know
Spurs.
he was.
That's what I would say.
So he did play for France. Although I think he was actually born. He was born in Belgium, but yes, he did play for France. That's correct.
Let's see, Tony Parker.
By the way, just so when the person would said the question about tickets and stuff like being 300, like I just pulled up Lakers Thunder tickets and like the cheapest one right now is about $200, but the most expensive though is like was it $6,000, but that's their courtside. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost
won. Lakers Thunder. I can't show.
That's like rent in Manhattan.
Yeah, $6,000. Oh yeah, I mean Manhattan's another thing. When you've Knicks Sixers, that'll just be astronomical.
I'll suffer a stroke when I see those prices.
No, jeez.
But yeah, overseas they have those leagues. I mean, like I said, Europe League. I'm just throwing ones like Serbian League. I said when Jokic would talk about that, he would say. Somebody asked him about like being tough in Denver. He goes, you haven't seen anything when you played over in Europe, whatever it was, and they would show the videos. It's a totally different world at basketball compared to here. It really is. Two totally different worlds.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's an increasing. If you look at the best players in the NBA now, only like if you just take the 5 best players in the NBA currently,
Yeah.
one of them is American.
LeBron.
Well, no, I was going to say Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. Never mind. I was like, what?
Well, Draymond Green said the league is turning more European.
It is because they're starting. It is turning European because they're starting to outcompete Americans because the game is becoming more global.
Right. I mean, the Hawks' #1 overall pick last year was from Europe. I think he's from France or something like that. Rissenauer, I believe his name was.
Yes.
What's he up to now? I haven't heard.
He was hurt a lot this year, I think.
Has he played in the NBA yet?
Yeah. Yeah. He's just
Impressive.
scrawny. He's got to put some weight on that guy.
Jeez.
Look, it's easier. That is a much better situation to be in if you want guys to beef up than if you want them to lose weight. Because it's usually you get a good trainer, you feed them a lot. You know, that's probably a much easier thing to do than.
They really have more meat on their bones.
I mean, the Wizards, what were they? The #2 pick last year, they got that guy Sarr. He was from France.
Alex Sarr,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. So, like you said, they're starting to come over. I mean, you can see whatever it is. That's even like with the Olympics, like you said, when it's like everybody's saying, oh, the Americans, whatever it is, because these other countries have gotten better. Argentina, France, Serbia. Like I said, so, yeah, they would be in the global basketball thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, that's interesting. $300.
Jeez.
I mean, I would just say don't spend $300 on NBA tickets.
And even if it's final, the
That's
price
what I
is
would say.
fixed.
Like, I'm not paying.
No, I wouldn't either.
Not for regular season tickets. I mean,
No.
look, I would love to see the Knicks play the Sixers in the Garden. I would love to, but I'm not made of money, so it's a little.
Yeah.
It might be a little hard to do.
Right.
The only way I could see myself going to one of those games is if I have a connection and somebody's able. Oh, I have an extra ticket. Would you want to go?
Oh,
I could see something like that happening, maybe.
yeah.
But I don't think that will happen. And the environment would be insane. The environment would just be crazy. It just in going to those games. I think going to games is sometimes a little overrated, but there are times when I definitely want to.
All right, here you go. So I got this from StubHub.
All right, let me hear.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Knicks Sixers. Cheapest ticket I'm looking at now, upper level. So it's like what's that? 213, $427.
What?
We're seeing the nosebleeds?
Oh,
The nosebleeds?
God
Down
damn.
below. Like I'm looking at one that's at courtside, another this one that says 2 left, 13,000. Another one is nearly 10,000. But I can go upper levels in the hours. Here's the price. It's going to go around 602, 950, 588, 508, 592, 518, 704. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And I didn't even count fees.
Fees, state tax, maybe city tax if
Yeah.
it's New York.
Not to mention, depending on your situation, if you're
Right.
driving in, you have to pay the congestion pricing, and you have to pay to park your car, and you have to pay tolls.
Yep.
I mean, if you're not driving in and if you live in the city, it probably doesn't matter as much. You can hop on a train and go there. But if you
Take
come
the subway,
from out
take a
of state-
cab or walk.
But it's
Like-
game one.
yeah, just for game one.
Game
Yeah,
one.
exactly. It's
It's
not a game seven.
insanity.
Game one.
Of the second round.
Second round is probably even
in the
worse.
second round.
Like they imagine they make the finals against the Spurs or something.
Oh,
or
then
the
it's
Thunder.
then it's over.
That
It's
$400
over.
nosebleed ticket's $1,000.
Grand.
And here's
Be
the
over
problem.
by then.
Here's the problem. You're not walking away from that game very happy, but you definitely can walk away from that game pissed off.
Yes.
In other words,
And then
your
Right.
potential for being pissed off is so much higher than your potential for being satisfied because
Yeah.
the Knicks are supposed to win game one. You're not, unless they beat them by like 30 points, you're not walking away super confident. If they win, you're like, all right, we were supposed to win them, but they lose. It's like, oh, this is getting bad.
Yeah, and then like the
Then
Knicks fans go, I'll go to Philly because there's tickets there and cheaper.
No.
450, 500. Most expensive down below is 6,000. And it's going to
Philly
be
is
a
a big
night-
city, just like New York.
It's going to be a nightmare there this weekend because of the Phillies being home and the Sixers also dump. Oh, forget it. It's going to be brutal. brutal parking.
Pittsburgh was just brutal, having like Pirates and Pens at home with the draft. There was like there was like an extra million people in the city last weekend. It just aren't normally there.
Here's what I would suggest, and I think maybe I should do this. If you're a Knicks fan, or if you're a Philly fan, actually, you could be either one. Watch the game in Atlantic City. I mean, it would be a little bit of a whole, like, if you want to save money on going to a Knicks Sixers game in Philly, go to Atlantic City and watch the game there, because that's going to be like the Sixers home crowd, that you're going to be, because if you know anything about Atlantic City, it's mostly Philadelphia fans end up going. I mean, there's New York fans too, but it's much closer to Philly, so you end up like if you go there during football season and there's an Eagles game, you see a lot of Eagles fans, a lot of green everywhere. So if you want an experience similar going to the Sixers game as a Knicks fan, going to the game in Philly, go to Atlantic City and watch the game there. That you'll be in the minority, but it'll be a pretty wild environment. There'll probably be some more Knicks fans there than in Philly, but I think the breakdown would actually be fairly similar. So, maybe I should do that for some of those games rather than. You might end up losing.
Just drive to Atlantic City and be like, I'm here to watch the game and enjoy myself.
Speaking of playoff hoops, the Cavs are up 15 right now on the Raptors.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
With 3.5 left in the third. It was tied at halftime.
Yeah, wow. It was tied.
Yeah, they are up 60. Yeah, 76-50.
Here in the second half.
Yeah, 76-61.
20-2 run. That'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 49-49 at halftime. So that's
Speaking of which, I was going to talk to Nick about this. That Knicks game, so what was that? We're watching that thing when it was that game with Atlanta. It was like a 57-12 run. What the heck were you thinking about that? That run that they had against Atlanta, where it was like 70-20 in the third quarter, or whatever.
Look, here's how I see it. The Knicks are not the team that lost Game 2 against the Hawks.
Yeah,
and they're not the team and lost Game 3. They're also not the team that curb stomped them in Game 6. I think they're somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Excuse me. Can show up, and I think both of those teams, versions of the Knicks, probably will show up against all of these teams.
Probably.
So, I mean, that's just kind of how I see it. Like, it's just somewhere in the middle. I thought, we didn't talk about it much, that Mitchell Robinson fight with Dyson Daniels, where he ended up getting fined $50,000. Dyson Daniels,
the elbow to the ribs.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dirty play by Dan.
Yeah,
it was clearly a dirty play. Robinson, I mean, the fact that they're getting fined equally for it, they both got ejected. I can't stand how in sports the player that clearly initiates the fight doesn't gets the same punishment as the player that reacts to it, especially when the player that reacts to it is often the better player anyway. Remember that time when Jokic knocked over, I think it was Marcus Morris or Markieff Morris, one of the Morris twins. I forget which one.
Yeah. He was on the Heat.
On Miami. And he tried a dirty play against he tried doing this dirty play against Jokic, and Jokic just responded to it, and they both got suspended for a game. And it's like that. Yeah, they both got suspended for a game, but it's not equivalent. First of all, suspending Jokic is far worse than suspending Morris. Right. But also, it's like what they did wasn't the same. Jokic just responded to what he did. So that's kind of that's what I thought was kind of similar to it. The way I saw it is, here's the thing. It was I will say this, though, about the Knicks in Game 6.
All right.
They did something I thought they couldn't do. I didn't think they could blow out the Hawks the way they did. Right. I didn't think that they were capable of that.
Right.
However, the flip side with them losing is I wasn't that shocked that they were capable of losing to the Hawks at home.
Right.
I was far more surprised at how good they were in Game 6 than how bad they were in Games 2 and 3. And I think both of those versions of the team are really just going to show up in all these series. I think they're all going to be a little – I think the Knicks will give all of us a little bit of agita throughout these series.
I think it's going to have. No, I think it's going to have a big series. I don't know. I mean, anywhere else, it's going or was going to be. They're going to have the big spotlight on. And he usually does show up when it's Knicks Sixers. Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nova guy. You know, just the whole thing.
Yep.
I always get worried in these series because, look, Brunson's a great player. Cat's a great player.
Right.
I get worried because Brunson and Cat often get into stupid foul trouble.
They do.
They're both not good on defense.
Nope.
And when Brunson has these really big games where he plays Superman to save the team, it's when he's taking like 49 shots and Towns is having a bad game. Right. And it's like Brunson is doing it all by himself. And great, he can do that. He's also not shooting efficiently in those games. Like the Knicks can win that way, but you don't want that to happen. Like I really hope we're not in a situation where Brunson is shooting like 50 shots. Like I don't want to see that. Like that's usually not a good sign when your point guard has to take all the shots. So I really hope that doesn't happen. If Towns plays a good game, that's not going to end up happening. And I think there's a lot of X factors. And I think the thing with the Knicks is that I think a whole lot of things are going to go right and a whole lot of things are going to go wrong. I mean, Bridges has just been awful lately. And I think that could be a really big problem. I mean, look, we gave up 5 first-round picks for Bridges. We have him there to hit those mid-range shots. He's not consistently doing it. I think that can end up being a very big problem for the Knicks.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy.
So we'll see how all this works out. Let's talk. Can we talk about this? Amazon has made a deal with Duke. Right. So Prime Video ended up picking up 3 Duke neutral site games.
Let's get Ben in here.
Right.
Now, so there's more and more games that are being on, just in general, more and more games that are being played on Amazon. Now, here's my issue with games being played on Amazon Prime. I have Amazon Prime. I can watch the games. That's not really the issue. The issue is more how badly run it is when games are played on Amazon Prime and how it's just not user-friendly. Like, maybe if it ran a little better, maybe if it wasn't such a pain in the ass to switch from a streaming service to cable or to another streaming service, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Hello, Ben. I'm having a better day than you are.
Poor Ben.
I'll keep my comments to myself.
Of course, you had to put a shirt on for one of your teams that's actually winning lately.
Ow!
Jeez.
I'm trying to mourn right now, Nick, and not trying to.
I'm sorry.
Feel what you're going through.
We were talking about Amazon. We were talking about Duke basketball games being on Amazon Prime.
Right.
And my issue with the NBA games being on Amazon Prime is that it's just not user friendly. It's a pain in the ass having these games on Amazon Prime. If I wouldn't complain about it if it was easy. But, you know, every time I turn on these games, it's like the internet's bugging out a little bit, or the stream, like, it stops, and then they have to click out and go back into it. And if I want to flip to a different game, you have to, like, turn the whole TV off and then turn it back on and then go to this. Like there needs to be a better way than this type of system where it's just a pain in the ass.
The thing is, though, no one cares about it being a pain in the ass that makes these decisions. They only care about money. Like, because they know, like, if people really want to watch it, they're going to find a way to watch it, like, regardless. So it's not going to get any easier or any better or more convenient for the consumers in the time being. Like, it's just going to get worse because they keep, you know, barely like, oh, and now we're going to do this and just a little change and then another little change. And now we're so far removed from where we were pre-COVID with sports. It's ridiculous.
Well, here's the other thing, which is smart on Duke. They basically now given every college big program a game plan. Find a loophole. Like Duke's in the ACC network, ESPN. All these games that they're doing, if you notice, are all non-conference. So you can make the deals with the Amazons and, you know, Netflix and whatever else. So you're going to see, I'm going to say Kentucky's, Kansas, you know, your favorite college team, if they have a non-conference game, hey, we can, and all that money in their pocket goes NIL. So you can pay off, Cameron Boozer, hey, stay around for your junior year for another $1 million, or get a guy from Kentucky, whatever it is. So yeah, it's going to be paydays for these things. So you're going to see all these teams, top 25 ones, non-conference, and they'll line them up and say, oh, we'll just cut a deal over here. And no, these other ones will get pissed, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. They definitely found a loophole, and I think a whole lot of other teams are going to end up doing the same thing.
St. John's, Kentucky, Villanova.
Wait, which particular games are these? Like, I just want to see which games they are. They're like November games?
They're playing Gonzaga, I think, in Vegas.
We're playing Duke. We're playing Duke on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
but so these games are earlier in the season.
Yeah, I mean, before you hit the conference schedule, it's like November, it's like the Thanksgiving games, like Ben said stuff. So, one of them is Gonzaga. I think it's in Vegas. It's called like the MGM Shootout or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes a certain amount of sense. I mean, at that point, I don't care as much because I'm not paying attention as much at that time. I disagree a little bit with what you're saying when you talk about the convenience. I think that most things, when it comes to entertainment, become more convenient over time. Like, I think there will be a time when you can easily flip through streaming services. Like, I think there will be a feature on TVs where you can very easily flip through streaming services. I think that
Netflix, click. Prime Video,
I
click.
think manufacturers are
TV,
very,
click,
not the people making the decisions in sports, but the manufacturers, I would say, are still very incentivized to do that. That's why we have like I think at one point it will be similar to changing channels. I think one day you will be able to click. Right. I think you'll be able to go from Netflix to Hulu to Prime to whatever.
Disney Plus, that sort of thing.
Right. And I mean, the thing with cable is it really just reflects the market in a lot of ways, which is that a lot of people are cutting cable. And if you look at things like cable, a whole lot of what you're paying for, like, you're not even using. How many channels do you get on cable? It's like such a waste of money. You're not even paying. You're paying for all these channels that you're not even using. I mean, the only reason I even have cable is to watch sports.
All right.
That's pretty much it.
I cut the cord years ago.
And it makes sense to cut the cord. With all these cord cutters, I think I know more people with Amazon Prime and Netflix than I do who have cable.
I have it.
But then I'm starting to hear people who have the, what do you call it, the Netflix stuff, they're all complaining because now all of a sudden they keep raising prices. Like, what was it? Like, Netflix's, they shot up, and this one they did this. I mean, they were saying last year, I think it cost $1,200 to watch the NFL.
Yeah.
That's the problem. People go,
crazy.
well, I want to see this, but then you're paying crazy amounts. Well, like Ben, like you said, if he wants to, it's like, you got to pay $1,500 to watch a full season of NFL. He'd be like, forget it, maybe. Or he would you do that? Say they go $1,200 to watch the NFL.
Well, there's a certain level. Well, you mean to have access to every NFL game?
All the So you're talking Netflix?
$1,200 a year?
$1,200 for the year.
I don't know. A year. It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's one whole, like, say, one whole paycheck my husband brings into the house.
Yeah.
That would be $1,200 or $1,300.
Yeah,
that's too much.
Yeah, Amazon Prime, this one, it's crazy. That's the issue that I have with the streaming thing, because I have Fios, but it's just like I don't want to pay all these off the chart fees, just to, whatever. And now you're going to do it with basketball. Like I said, I was a fan of Duke. I always wanted to watch the game, like playing UConn, Ben's team. But I'm like, oh, you got to pay $20 or whatever streaming thing to watch it. Like, no, I'll go to a bar.
It's out of control.
At that point, you're almost better off just cutting cable.
Or just go to a bar, watch the game for $0. I mean, that's what I said.
Go to a sports bar, your local Buffalo Wild Wings for that.
Exactly, Kristie. I mean, it makes sense to watch the game and the whole streaming thing. And I feel like, but as I said, for now, like you said, you're going to have all these teams with like you said, with non-conference. They'll make sure they play the big ones, and then they get some money in their pocket. Then they use it for NIL or whatever. So
the bars too, also, like, they know, like, they're going to get people to come in because of already the drinking situation. Like, you're gonna already get that, like, added bonus to it, like, compared to, like, if you're gonna be at home just watching the game itself.
Right.
It's really up to you if you want to do it or not. But.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, it's not even free because then you're paying for drinks or food or whatever it is.
Drinks and food. Yeah, I know.
But at least you're getting something out of it other than you're not just paying to watch football. Like you're paying for something you'd otherwise have to pay for anyway, which in this case would be food or drinks or whatever.
Right.
So at least it's something. And I don't like going to bars to watch games because I think the best seat – I don't even really like going to games that much. I think tailgating's overrated. I like watching games at home for the most part.
So for me, I go to a game at least once a year for the most part, even if the Pats aren't doing great. And I feel like there's a lot of people that go to like multiple games a year. Like I don't know for me if like because I don't know if for me it wouldn't take the fun out of it. Like if you just keep going like all the time. But I'll go to like a game like once a year, and I'll try to go to like a good like opponent if I can. If not, it's whatever. But I can't remember if I didn't even go this past year, but like the year before, I saw some quarterback, really good quarterback. The Colts. I saw the Colts last year, so I mean I saw Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs. So like there's obviously a draw to that, but obviously going to Brady Mahomes, like that was obviously like Sunday Night Football. That's like a type of game,
that's different.
Right.
Standalone games is different. Like I go to a lot of Jet games, but they're mostly standalone games that I go to.
Yeah. But yeah, the tailgate for me, I'm not like I'll go to one if I have to, but I'm usually never there early enough for tailgating anyway. So like I'll go and go inside the stadium, walk around a little bit. I like to walk around. I think that's one of the most underrated things when you get inside, even if it's like a place you know about, just to walk around, maybe see if there's something new, maybe like around inside. Every single year they always kind of add stuff, and then just see what in terms of the food situation. I know at least at Gillette Stadium, number one rule: don't try to use the bathroom during halftime, or you're not going to make it out.
Because the lines are probably like wrapped all the way around.
Yeah,
all the way to Boston.
The lines are like insanely long.
It's insane. Like my dad and I have gotten to a point where we plan essentially the times to use the bathroom because like if we go like during like the second quarter, like mid part of it's usually not much of a line. Get to halftime, it's like you get all the junkies also in there. It's bad. But all in all, it's a pretty good experience. Doing the drive and the way back. For me, it's like a 2.5 hour drive, so it's a little bit different. But if I go once a year, I'm fine with that. But outside of that, I like watching it.
Yeah, and I know we're just talking about like all this stuff with Duke before. But by the way, Nick, just a heads up: NFL Preview 26. Earlier in the show, we were talking about tanking. Watch the NFL this year with the tanking.
Oh no!
Because of next year's draft, how incredible it's going to be with the quarterbacks and the running backs.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't think tanking is nearly as much of a thing in the NFL as it is in the NBA.
Not.
Well, the bad teams, it's really hard, even if you're a bad team, because you're going to get one of those type of games where even if you're a bad team, you're going to find a way to pull a game out. It's just kind of part of sports. Look at the game that Tua and the Dolphins had against the Buffalo Bills, where I think the Bills were probably about 10+ favorites going into that game, and they absolutely pissed themselves. In which a game where it wasn't even honestly close, and you see everybody like the Monday after, like, did that actually just happen? So like, and the Dolphins obviously they moved on from Tua, they cut the cord with him, they got Malik Willis, which I'm not the biggest fan of Malik Willis. I think obviously for the pay, I think he's a decent quarterback, but obviously
Do you see him throwing that first pitch?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
the teams this year. Sorry.
Like what I'm saying, for tanking, it's tough. It's really, really tough.
But the teams this year, I'm saying the bad teams: Jets, Cards, Raiders, Titans. Big ones. Like you said, they could have a bad year. The quarterbacks they don't like say, I want you to throw out an example like the Jets. Sorry, I'm picking on your team, Nick. But they could have a bad year. They could have a bad, or the Cardinals. And you drafted. What was it? You drafted the guy from Clemson.
Right? Jeremiah Love.
You got Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame.
No, the quarterbacks. I'm talking like Josh Rose.
The Jets got the guy from Clemson.
Right. And then the Cardinals got the guy from Miami.
Yes.
Right.
So say they go 1-2. Who says they go, we don't like these guys. We'll go get Arch Manning. We'll go get this quarterback.
I see what you're saying. I just don't think that seems to happen in the NFL nearly as much. I think a few reasons why. I think that I think that draft picks in the NBA, if you look at the guys being drafted this year, I think teams are more confident in them than teams are in NFL prospects, generally speaking, throughout the season. The other reason is coaches on these bad teams are always so desperate that they're fighting for their jobs.
Yeah.
So they try to pull off wins.
Right.
And it's the same thing with players. They're desperate for their jobs too, and they're auditioning for a role on another team that they're trying to play as well as possible, and they're also desperate. So I just think in the NFL, it just tends to not work that way. I understand the incentive. It makes sense for them to be incentivized, but it's like, if you're looking at, say, Arch Manning coming out next year, how sure is anybody of Arch Manning? We don't really know.
No.
And the truth is, it's very hard to tell how good a team is going to be, how good a player, even a quarterback is going to be. But the other thing is, if you look at the four teams that you mentioned, the Raiders and the Titans both have their quarterbacks.
But they can go get a wideout.
Yeah. But like the point is, though, is that even if you get a guy like an all-time, even if you get like just, a standout wideout, like
The guy from Ohio State.
like a Jeremiah Smith or something like that,
Yeah.
or Mekhi Lemon, or an all-time great player, there's somebody, or a player that could potentially be all-time. They're not franchise changing in the same way that getting a star point guard is. Like if say, Darius Acuff ends up on the Wizards next year or something like that, that's franchise changing for the Wizards in a way that, say, Jeremiah Smith being on the Titans wouldn't be. Like, I think that's the difference. And, if you look at teams like, say, the Jets and the Giants a lot of years, every fan base thinks it's only happening to them, but they often win meaningless games, which cost them draft picks. And it's not just the Jets that do it. It's not just the Giants. It's all the teams that are doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't think tanking is nearly as much of an issue in the NFL. The thing that's an issue in the NFL is that I certainly think this was the case this year, which is that the bottom 5 or 6 teams were just unwatchable.
Yes.
That was the issue. They were so bad. They were unwatchable. And I think that's a little bit of an issue for the NFL.
Right.
Because all of these games, it's one thing in the NBA where these teams are only being showed locally. In the NFL, at least to some extent, these teams are all being showed nationally. A lot of people have Red Zone Sunday Ticket. A lot more people are watching. The Washington Wizards, I don't think I have access to really any Washington Wizards game. I have NBA League Pass, but hardly anybody I even know has NBA League Pass. So I just think the NFL I just think it's way different. I think it's way different.
Yeah, and even those, I was gonna say, and even those bad teams, it's not like the Cardinals weren't playing Zach Ertz last year, they were still feeding him trying to win games. So
exactly,
not even tanking. You're just that much terrible, or that much more terrible than everybody else. I had this conversation with a buddy once, and I asked him, "Do you think we'll ever get to a point in NFL history where the worst team in the league is a 5-win team?"
What do you mean?
5-win? The worst team in the league is a 5-win team?
Worst team.
Yeah. Do you think there could ever be a scenario in which every team in the NFL wins 5 games the same year?
No. Never.
No, that won't happen.
I don't know. I think there's starting to be such a greater mass of good players that and especially as this game grows, I think we'll get to a point in the next, and I'm not saying soon, I'll say in the next 20 years, I think maybe we do see one season where the worst team still has enough good players on it because of the volume of good players in the league that they'll be able to scrape 5 wins together.
Well, let's just put this in perspective. This year, of all the divisions in the NFL this year, roughly I'm getting this right. 5 of the 8 conferences, divisions, their bottom team had fewer than 5 wins. So I would say usually there are teams in the NFL that are so bad that they can't win 5 games. I don't know when.
I don't know what the best worst team ever is, to be totally honest with you, to even reference.
What's that?
I'll see if I can find it. But I mean, obviously the worst team in the league is the number 1 overall pick. So of all those teams who have been the worst, what has been the best record? Like, what has been the best record by the worst team in the NFL statistically, ever, is what I'm asking. I think it's 3 or 4 wins. I think might be 4 wins.
Right. But also, they might have only played back then maybe a 16 game or.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem, too. They want to go to 18 games. I mean, the league is hell-bent on an 18-game regular season schedule.
I will say,
crazy that they want to do that.
It does drive me a little crazy that the number of games they play in the regular season is an odd number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
I think it should be an even number of games. But I don't know if if expanding to that 17th game was a great idea. If anything, they should expand the season another week, but every team gets an extra bye week. That's not such a bad idea either. It might water down some of the Sundays a little bit, but the 1 o'clock window is so oversaturated as it is. I don't really think that's much of a problem. And now they're getting rid of the double Monday night games. So I think it'll be about the same anyway. I think that if you look at, say, Thursday night football, I think that should be played after a bye week.
Yeah.
That's how I think they should do it. They should just Thursday night football should be played following a bye week. So it's at least teams aren't playing off of short rest.
Right.
I think that would be a solution too, because people often talk about player safety and the problems with Thursday night football. Well, that's just an obvious solution. Just do it after a bye week. Then the player safety issue is really just not much of a concern anymore.
Right.
And so I like Thursday night football. I just think they should change that. And the Monday night, the double Monday night game, the problem with it, I kind of liked it because of my schedule, but it wasn't. The problem is that it just waters down the 1 o'clock games a little more, and all the bad games or all the worst games for the most part are being put on the 1 o'clock games in the 1 o'clock window. And I think it's better to just have more games, to have one Monday night game and more games during the day on Sunday.
I think it's a nice concept, though. I wish they didn't fully abolish it, but they tried to maybe rework it on a different night. I think the idea of having a doubleheader of football games is something the NFL fans would really appreciate. Don't have both games going on at the same time necessarily, but have a game start at 6 and then a game start at 9, or maybe not 9, but have a game start at 6 and then a game start at 8. Space them out by 2 hours, so it's all fourth quarter while this one's getting going. I personally don't mind that. I kind of liked the double headers, but I know the vast majority of people didn't.
Well, so I'll play devil's advocate. I feel like a lot of the double headers that we've had, some of those games were just duds. And
they were. A lot of them were.
And it's
so you're telling me.
And so, you're telling me, yes, I'm as much as I am as a football guy, in terms of viewership. Say if it's the second game, I think there was a second game. It was the Chargers and
the Raiders.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, that did happen. That
did happen.
It's
was one of the games. Yeah,
it's for an actual football fan. How many people actually, unless you're maybe a fan of either of those two teams, are actually going to sit through that entire second type of game? So it's if you have one really good primetime type of game, I do feel viewership, just for the overall consistency of it, I think it's just better to just have one game on Monday night like it used to be. As much as they're open to having 2 games, I just feel personally there will be then competition of trying to get an actual marquee matchup, at least for both games, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's always the issue with standalone games, though, is that if they're not good, it's obvious that they're not. Like, like if there's a 1:00 game that kind of is a stinker, it's like
there's 7 other
there's
ones
a whole bunch of
that might
games to
not
watch.
be.
You don't really see that it's a bad game. If
It's true, but you also saw the parity that happened throughout the league the whole entire year last year. It's like there was a lot of times that like the whole 1:00 window was just awful game. So it's like, all right, tell me, so the 4:00 hopefully we'll have. It's like there was a lot of it. There really was last year.
What are your thoughts? Here's a quick question. What are your thoughts on the international games? Like I saw that week 1 was it Rams Niners in Australia, but it's going to start 8:30 Eastern time, and I'm just like, I'm not a fan of the international games. I know the Jags have a deal, like they play in London every year for that whole thing. I'm just not a fan of the international games. I know they're trying to expand it globally, but
I don't take issue with the international games per se. I take issue with the times that they start and how inconvenient it is for, say, American fans.
Yeah,
And
like the
Goodell
vast
wants more.
majority of the the NFL's fan base.
yeah,
Like, I
Goodell wants
get
more.
some of the Sunday morning ones, right? Like Dublin at 9:30. The Steelers had that last year. Like, I didn't mind that because that's kind of like, that tees you off, gets you ready for the rest of the day in the NFL. You wake up a little earlier. It's like you get a bonus game before the rest. I don't mind that. But it's the weird, like, Friday at 7 p.m. ones. Like, I don't like when they just try to throw the games on like random days. Like, all right, Saturday or Friday, they're playing in Belgium. Like, I'm not a fan of that because I think that screws up teams with scheduling. Like the Vikings had back-to-back overseas games last year, which I thought was
they did.
stupid.
I agree with David completely. Having the Rams, a West Coast team, play a game 8:30 a.m. Eastern, I mean, that's to them a 5:30 in the morning game.
No, 8:30 at night. No, it's it's 5:30 Rams time, but still like they're talking.
Oh,
like
it's 8:30. They can play at 8:30 at night in Europe.
Right.
No,
No, it's
playing
not
Big time difference. Oh, Australia, international
You know
dateline.
another thing too about the international games is how do the betting odds take into play for a lot of these type of matchups, because there really is no, like, I guess granted, the travel obviously could be a big thing, but you're obviously going overseas regardless of where you're going to. So for betting people, it's like you look at, I mean, there was a game last year with the Dolphins Commanders. I bet that was probably a pick 'em because of both teams were just that bad. But like, just you look at the Rams. What was it, Rams Niners, David, for the first game week 1?
Yeah,
this year, week 1.
Yeah, like if you're looking at like a betting odd perspective type of thing, like that could be definitely interesting because you're playing on the same exact surface. You're not playing on one respective overall stadium.
Now, like you said, according to, I guess I'm just reading it now, when the game's being played in Australia, this is why I love these games. It'll be 10:30 in the morning their time for kickoff.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's just like you said. Goodell wants more of these, by the way. Like he has them in Germany and what else. He wants to have like 80s at 80 a year.
Yeah.
Wants the NFL to engage in world domination.
There's also, I mean, they're also going to end up playing games in. I mean, they did already. They've played games in Mexico City.
Right.
They've played games in Brazil, which I don't mind as much. Really, I don't really mind that because it doesn't mess with. It's not an inconvenience to us because those are American time zones that they're in. So I don't really care when they play games in South America or in Mexico. But when they play games in Europe or Australia, it's just a mind fuck to the rest of us. I mean, look, if the Jets are playing a 9:30 game in London, I'll wake up early to watch the Jets. If it's any other team, it's just like, screw it. I'm just not going to watch that game. I'm going to sleep in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not worth it to me.
Like, I get why they're doing it though. We're talking about how global the NBA game is now. Like that's what the NFL is trying to push, make it a more global game. So I get it and I understand it and I like it for those reasons. But also, like, when you're able to appreciate that side of it, it's impossible to like find a compromise that's like, all right, well, on the other side of the world, this time works well, like for both parties, both when they're playing it there and when we're watching it here. Like, it's just not feasible to create like a good solution for everybody, in my opinion. But it needs to continue to be that way for them to kind of reach the goal that they're currently striving for. Like this is just the way you have to go about it. Unless you do like, I mean, do you ever think they go as far as to like, I don't know, we see the Super Bowl played at like Wembley Stadium in London or something?
Yes.
Like, do you think we ever see a point where they
I think
expand
we
it
do
globally
eventually.
that much?
But I would be
It's gonna eventually happen.
Well, okay. Here's a good panel question. What happens first? The Super Bowl's behind a paywall, or they play in London?
Play in London.
Ooh.
London.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
Goodell will see the dollar signs at Wembley Stadium. They'll be like, yeah, send it over there.
But
I could see there being like more paid aspects to the Super Bowl before, like I could see them starting to like, it's not fully behind a paywall, but it's like, oh, you pay for this and you get like, oh, this alternate broadcast, or like I could see them like trying to dip their toe into it maybe before it gets to London, but
yeah, but I think they care
paywall
about.
comes
I
after
think they
London.
care about TV viewership a lot more for the Super Bowl than for a regular season game. So, like, I don't know if they would be willing to have the Super Bowl start at 9:30 in the morning. So even if it were in London, I think the timing would still be different. They're, I think, 5 hours ahead of us.
They're 5 hours.
Yeah, it's 5.
7 for me.
Right.
Yeah, 7 for you, but
7 for
for the
me.
Eastern, for most of us who are on the Eastern.
Almost on the
I can
East
see them
Coast.
starting it at like 6 in London, and it's or like maybe 7 o'clock in London. 2 p.m. on the East Coast. That's 11
That would be
a.m.
You
West
think they'd do that?
Coast.
You think they'd
11 a.m.
start
Mountain
the
Standard
Super Bowl
Time
at
for me.
2 p.m. Eastern time?
What's that again?
You think they'd be willing to start the Super Bowl 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is where most of their viewer or the largest share of their viewers are?
I think they would, man. I really think they would, just because like
I doubt
who's
that.
not gonna watch the Super Bowl? Like
People are
that's
gonna
what
watch
you
the
got to
Super
think
Bowl,
about.
but-
Just because they move it 4 hours, do you think you're really gonna get that many people who don't watch the Super Bowl?
But
Like I don't think they'll be too worried about it.
Super Bowl though is still such a nighttime event.
It
Just
is.
like the way it is culturally, like you go to your friend's house and they have Super Bowl parties, and also championship games have been being played later and later. How many times do you hear people whine and complain about how late start times are for games? You hear it all the time.
Right.
So like that would just seem a little contradictory compared to everything else that's been going on in sports if they were to start the Super Bowl at 2 p.m. Like that to me just sounds cartoonish. Playing the Super Bowl in London doesn't sound cartoonish. I just think starting
logistics
at
of it
that
do.
time sounds absurd.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, think about if they say they play it like a normal Sunday night game even, and they start at 8:30. Well, that's 3:30 here, and 3:30 is normally the time where the West Coast people are watching the Super Bowl. Like, it starts at 6 on the East Coast, 3 on the West. So when you think of it like that, you're like, well, you're pushing it back to noon for the West Coast, which is a little weird, but you're like, that's already kind of like, people will already be up at noon on the West Coast watching football most Sundays anyway. Like, does it really make that big of a difference for one game? Like, I think they're gonna test. I bet you we could see it before Super Bowl 75, maybe even 70.
So well, that's within the next like 20 years.
About that.
I can see that.
Next 9 to 14 years, because we just had Super Bowl 60.
Well, let's put it this way though. I could like you said, within the next
Call it 15 years.
Okay, fine. The next 15 years, say. I could see the Super Bowl being on Prime Video or Netflix or something like that sooner.
Oh my
than
God.
that.
I can and I can't, because it like I feel like these like think about all these networks that pay for the Super Bowl, like and to those rights. Like that's what the majority of the money they make is going towards. And they probably still have more. Like they can make like a 4th Mike and Molly revival on CBS if they need to or something to boost up the money that they need in order to regain their rights. Like these cable networks, they got money. Like cable might not be as popular, but these cable networks still got some money. So I don't see them. It's not that the streaming services wouldn't want it or the NFL wouldn't want it. I just can't see it being pried away from CBS and NBC and Fox. Like, I just don't foresee that happening anytime soon, really.
Yeah. Can we talk about this story? Brendan Sorsby, the guy from Texas Tech, is going in. The quarterback is going into treatment for gambling addiction. He's trying to. He hired an attorney to try to regain eligibility. He was the backup quarterback at Texas Tech last year, and so he was under investigation for sports gambling and would seek treatment. I assume that means he was betting. The allegation is that he was betting on football because it's probably not a big deal. Like, even if he's a gambling addict, if he's not betting on football, it's not really their concern, I don't think.
Was he betting on his team
to bet on
too?
anything in college?
Huh?
Or just their own sport?
He was betting on. Well, I'm looking at something that says he was betting on Indiana games while on the roster in 22. But
that's crazy.
But then supposedly he was betting. He was betting on everything. I heard he was betting on baseball games, like pitches, like for $1. Like, was it a ball or a strike? Like, he's out of control with the gambling thing. But
he was betting the Emmanuel Class A first pitch ball.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is, if you look at it, if you saw, I don't know if Ben or Nick or any of you guys watched the draft thing, for next year, he was picked top 10. He's like, one of them had number 7, so he's looking at millions. Like he said, he saw that. It's like, hey, I got to get back in this because if not, I'm basically screwed for next year. And that's why I said, like, unless like he goes to, I don't know, to CFL to play, or we can't play the UFL because it's gone now. But
UFL.
Like, I'm just saying, like, he's really, like, he's looking at his money going down the drain. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
With drafting and everything else. So he hired a high-powered lawyer, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know what money he used when he lost it all gambling, it seems like.
He lost it all, too? He wasn't even good at it?
Well,
not everybody's like you and Connor.
Oh. According to the rules, he should be banned for life for the volume he was betting on his own team, even when he was red shirting. Oh, God damn.
Yeah, it's completely crazy.
It is.
Now, in terms of, like, look, he's not the only player who's had this type of problem. I would say, I don't know, I guess I would say that this is a cautionary tale for athletes. What do they say? A smart person, a dumb person learns from their own mistakes. A smart person learns from other people's mistakes.
Right.
Just
sounds right.
Learn from other people's mistakes and don't be that guy, I would say.
Now they're saying if he doesn't win this case, they said he can go into the supplemental draft. They say a player's not been picked there since 2019.
Oh,
supplemental
been
draft.
that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a team might look at him and say, "We'll take a shot at him for whatever it is." And I don't know if they just, but also like you said, that's the thing. Like, do they want to deal with somebody who's got a gambling problem?
Well, the thing is, though, he's also a quarterback,
right?
And teams are so desperate for quarterbacks that it wouldn't stun me if that were to happen. He also cost himself a $5 million NIL deal.
Oh,
yes,
that's
not
bad.
awesome.
Yeah. So he effectively was gambling a lot more than just the amount of money, the amount of money he was actually placing. Like I would just say it's really just a cautionary tale. And you know what? He could end up playing in the NFL. It could end up happening. But even without the gambling, it's like, was he really an NFL prospect, Brendan Sorsby?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, he was? Okay.
He
was.
One of the drafts next year, he's picked number 7.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was top 10. Oh, yeah. That's why I think he went back and fought this because he wants, you say, he wants a big contract. Now, like you said, if you're a team like the Cardinals and say supplemental, or I'm just an example, or I don't know, the Saints or a really bad team, do you take a shot at him? If you look at his video and go, is it worth it? Like
I think it can be. I think it can be for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I really think it can be for a lot of teams. I mean, I don't know if the Saints would be the best example, but yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Saints don't even need him. They got Tyler Shaw.
They
they got
that's
that
why.
guy there.
But if you look at a team like the Jets, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work out. Oh, just like everything else that's been going on with the Jets all this time. It wouldn't matter.
Like, why not? I mean, you got Geno Smith. Like,
by the way,
I'd rather take a chance on this guy than hope Geno Smith does anything.
Geno Smith gets punched in the jaw again and has to have it wired shut.
The thing they're more focused on is the Sorsby 22 thing where he bet on his own team in Indiana. That's why they want the permanent ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because betting on, I feel like you should be able to bet on, if you're an athlete, bet on games within your sport that don't involve your team. Because it's what does me and Juan Soto both have the same amount of pool in who wins the Pirates and Reds game today?
Right.
Like, I mean, that's a really slippery slope. You can't have players betting on their own sport.
I feel like
that is a total conflict of interest. I think you should be able to bet on other sports, but your own sport?
I think as long as it doesn't involve your own team.
I mean, you look at the thing with Pete Rose.
Pete Rose got himself into trouble for doing that.
Here's the problem. In your own sport, though, players have a lot of inside information where to the point where it was totally unethical for them to be betting on their own sport.
Look at the NBA scandal going on right now with those guys. Was it Rozier and Damon Jones just pled guilty? They had the inside stuff on like LeBron being hurt or whatever else, and then like, oh, it's on out there. He's this. Yeah, you had that going on.
Yeah.
But the Pete Rose thing, I mean, that's what he said. There was a whole sign that says, "Do not bet on baseball," whatever it was. That's the golden rule. It was on a wall, and like he said, but he was such a addicted gambler. I mean, he never bet on his own team, but he just betted, and they tell you not to bet on baseball.
Well, didn't he bet on the Reds to win?
He did.
I think.
But I think he did.
Yeah, that's what he lied about. So.
Right.
Got him banned for life, so that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
It's like that guy, that soldier. Remember the story of that soldier who bet on Polymarket that Maduro would be, or that they would capture Maduro.
I heard about that. That was ridiculous.
It's like that guy. It's like that guy.
That guy.
Is the most like the Polymarket and Cauchy stuff is the most insane thing in the world to me. Like you were able to bet on if Chris Collinsworth, like what he would say during the Super Bowl. And if I'm Chris Collinsworth, I text a buddy and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna make sure I don't say this, and this, and I'm gonna say these three. Like he didn't say Patrick Mahomes once, and I think that's because almost everybody and their mother bet on him to say it. And I guarantee you, he's just like, I can make a bunch of money if I just don't talk about Patrick Mahomes. Now that might have been torture for him to not be able to talk about Patrick Mahomes during a Super Bowl that didn't involve him. But honestly, like I don't know how that stuff's allowed because of how easily it can be manipulated. Like the Oscars host, you can bet on what the Oscars host is going to say. You can see if Cardi B is going to be in the halftime show. Like all this stuff you can bet on.
That was me. I bet on Cardi B being in the halftime show.
You could bet on the anthem over and under. Like
that,
you could bet on who the anthem singer is going to be.
On Polymarket and Cauchy, you can actually.
You can do that on like the normal sports books too, but I'm just talking about like the life stuff.
Well, what if you know the person? In the Super Bowl, it wouldn't really work, but like just in general, I don't know how much you can bet on that in the regular season on those apps. But what if you know the person singing the national anthem?
I mean, the thing is,
like in a regular season game, that can happen. I mean, they don't have famous people singing the anthem.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is like with the Super Bowl, they had to start like hiding or like doing like the rehearsals in these secure locations because people were out like camping outside of wherever they were rehearsing it and just timing how long it would take them on average to sing the anthem and using that as information to their bet. Like, all this stuff can just be so like. You can find out the answer to some of these things or create the answer for yourself. It's not like any sporting event where it's like, oh, but they still have to go do it and it's not guaranteed it'll happen. When you say, hey, Chris Collinsworth may or may not say this, he can just choose whether or not he wants to and be conscious about it the whole game and print money for himself. I just don't know how it's allowed.
Yeah. Another story, actually, the Minnesota quarterback Drake Lindsay was arrested in Arkansas accused of underage alcohol possession and possession of a fake ID.
Mhm.
Gee, I've never heard of a college kid who did that before.
Call the presses, throw him in jail for 30 years. He was
Yeah.
drinking beer and he's not 21 yet, guys.
Yeah. I mean, look, I had a fake ID too. I think most of us probably did.
I had one.
Don't look at me.
I wasn't in Arkansas. I didn't do that, but
Yeah, I didn't have a fake ID in Arkansas.
no, I wasn't in
I didn't
Arkansas.
either.
Maybe it's different there.
Remember
Maybe.
when what was it? Jahlil Okafor, when he was a rookie with the Sixers, he tried using a fake ID at a bar in Philly, and the bouncer recognized him.
Oh no.
I guess
really funny.
that's one issue with being an NBA player.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows how old you
You
are.
stand out a little too much there.
Yeah.
You got like a sore thumb.
I would see that at like college bar. I mean, like, granted, at college bars is a little bit different than maybe like a big bar in Philly, but like I'd see like some Michigan State basketball players out at the bar sometime and be like, "It's public knowledge you're a freshman, bro." Like, it says it every time you do anything in the game. So like you're screwed if the wrong person sees you in here. They don't even need to ID you. It's just knowledge.
Yeah, it's basic. It's just common knowledge.
Yeah.
But maybe because they were star players, they were getting.
I mean, obviously that's why like their stars let them in, and like probably no one will say anything. I just always thought that was so funny because I was like, you can't even try to hide it. Like someone could Google your age and find it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think underage. I think this is far less big of a deal than the Brendan Sorsby thing because that has to do with the integrity of the game, whereas this is completely different. It's just kind of a bad idea.
I'd say even the Gavin McKenna thing of him punching that dude that was talking shit about his mom was a bigger deal than this.
Yeah.
I think it raised draft value.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hockey player.
Yeah, he could throw a right hook and knock it and break your bones, break your nose and stuff. Yeah.
Is he still looking like he's gonna go one, or did you say it hurt his draft stock?
I don't think it hurt at all. No, he's going to be. If he comes out, he's going to be one no matter what. There's been talk about him going back to Penn State for a sophomore year. But
I've heard that as well.
Yeah,
and I wasn't sure if that had anything to do with maybe the fight in his stock, or if he just wants to try to get better.
Yeah, but he wants to get better. I mean, Christ is 19, and your courses are golf and fly fishing. I mean, at Penn State, he talked about that on a podcast. His college courses. So
like, live it up, man. Go another year.
He's not.
I would understand why you would want to.
Well, I mean, if he goes. I mean, as I said, he'll make bank, and whoever goes. And I think also depends on. Well, I guess you can't really know, but I was going to say, if he goes one, and let's say the Rangers win the draft and they draft him. I'm using an example, but it could be Vancouver. If he goes, like I said, he'll be the toast of Manhattan, but it's going to be so much pressure on him too. But I don't know what will happen if he goes to Penn State or if he goes back or not. All right. It's a tough decision with him.
And because there's some decent teams too that are like some decent, like excitingly decent. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it. Landing spots for McKenna. Like it's not like I hate to beat down on the Jets again, but it's not like, oh, the Jets have the #1 overall pick. Like, and everyone's just like, like with the whole Dante Moore thing. Like some people think he went back because the Jets had the 2 pick. Like it's organizations that I think people wouldn't be like, oh, like, yay, I go #1, but I now have to go to this organization. I think there's some fun landing spots for him.
Yeah. By the way, it looks like Cleveland's going to advance to Toronto. They're up 12 with 30 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, I just checked the score.
And by the way,
checking it now.
Just real brief, remember we were talking before about teams with the East and whatever else? Sounds like Orlando might be falling apart there. Banchero from Orlando today was more saying, I'm not confident in this team anymore. It's third straight year knocked down in round 1.
Damn.
And he's going to get paid. And that's what I said. He'll just look and go, I don't want to, we're not going to win here. I'll go elsewhere.
So it looks like a possibility for Billy Donovan to get a job up there.
Well, they're actually, I was looking, you're talking about that. Who's looking there too? University of Kentucky with Billy Donovan. But they already got their coach, but yeah.
Yeah.
But get a big name in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this. So It's now time for the therapy session
Therapy session.
segment. So who needs the stiffest drink tonight? Is it Nuggets fans, Philly fans, Met fans?
Ben Cruz.
Ben, I think, might need the stiffest drink tonight. Yeah.
He needs a double. I've had those weekends of Philly teams, Ben, and trust me, with Boston, yeah.
Oh no.
That's a rough weekend for Boston. And then today.
Every Boston sports team has lost for the most recent game they've played.
Oh man.
Not awesome.
Didn't Suarez get hurt today for the Red Sox?
We lost.
Well,
we legit, and I think in the last 2 weeks, I've had probably the worst stretch in my fandom.
Right. Well, I mean, Red Sox fired Alex Cora.
Yeah.
That's one.
And then I don't even want to talk about it. It's just,
No.
All right. But
All right,
Ben needs the stiffest drink.
yeah.
I don't know. I think I need a pretty stiff drink too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Met fan here. Well, actually, not yet because the Knicks aren't out, so I don't quite need one as stiff as Ben does. Ben needs the
Oh
stiffest.
no.
Ben's got
Nuggets
nothing right
fans
now.
need a stiff drink, but you know who really needs the stiffest drink of all?
Yeah.
Are Delta customers and American Airlines customers and
Oh no.
customers of every airline, because now they're inheriting Spirit flyers.
Oh man.
Because
I
now
heard about
that
that. I'm like,
you heard,
oh man.
Spirit Airlines is shutting down.
I've
So,
heard
Right.
Going
about
out of
that.
business.
so now all of Spirit's, all of the Spirit customers
Mm-hmm.
are going to be migrating to all the,
Big name
airlines full of people who have self-respect.
Dude, I honestly think that what's it called? Who needs a drink? I had it and then I just lost it. Dude, I would say I could say both Mariner fans and Toronto Blue Jays fans might want to drink themselves silly just because I mean, Toronto, they're starting to get back on the upswing. They're 16-18, 6-4 in their last 10. That's better. You're still negative 14 run differential, which is bad. But the Mariners, you have a +2 run differential, but where is it? You're 4-6 against teams over 500, and you're the AL runner-ups, and you didn't even really make that many changes to get worse. I thought if anything, you got a little bit better, even though you don't have Suarez anymore. You brought Naylor back. You still have that rotation of Wu and Castillo and Gilbert. So the fact that they're not winning despite having what they need to do so and having guys that can do it but just aren't right now, I think is incredibly frustrating.
You know who also is it's underrated, who needs a stiff drink? Are Brooklyn Net fans. You're going to have a series with Karis LeVert. In the second round of the playoffs, you're going to have Karis LeVert playing Jarrett Allen with Kenny Atkinson as one of the head coaches.
Right.
That's got to be pretty tough for them too.
Right.
And not to mention James Harden will also be advancing. Another one of your ex-players.
Can you really get that mad about James Harden? James Harden gets passed around so much. Half the league can be Harden.
Well, hold up. I think it matters a lot because that big three team with the Nets, like we talked about before, could have been a really, really good team.
Yeah.
And, seeing one of those guys move on in the playoffs, yeah, I think that sucks. Joke's on you. We were already dead inside as I think even as Brooklyn Net fans. Net fans also can't spell, so. But yes, I figured that was.
No. Right.
Well, the good news about being a Net fan is that you save money on playoff tickets.
Right. Oh, jeez.
I guess that would be one of the perks. But
I think that's the only perk.
Of everybody on this panel, Ben probably needs the stiffest drink, but I don't feel that bad for Ben because he's experienced a lot of championships in his lifetime. I haven't experienced any.
Oh, man.
He was in the Super Bowl like 2 months ago. 3 months
Yeah,
ago.
so you got it.
It's still agonizing for him because of the Patriots losing.
This is
there's
how
a
the
really
sports
good
world
chance.
balances itself out. Boston can't win everything all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I can't be upset.
That's fair
It's
too.
true. Very true.
You can, but you can't be that upset.
Back-to-back nights of both my teams ending their season the worst way.
You couldn't have expected to actually be advancing against the Sabres, though. Like, getting to Game 6 or whatever was probably, like, the most thrilling it was going to get for you guys.
Yeah, but it's like,
oh boy,
you lose your season in back-to-back nights, still brutal.
Yeah, the Celtics one will hurt for a while. I know that. I can believe that.
Yeah, that's.
It doesn't help too when one of your best friends from college is a Philadelphia 76ers fan.
Oh no, that's even worse.
Rubbed it in my face after the game yesterday.
Oh no! Oh my God! Can Jason Tatum ever be trusted to be healthy when it matters? No. I mean, I would say no.
I would say yes. But
I would say I disagree.
I mean, given the chance, when he's healthy, he's amazing.
The second round if it came to it, but
right,
like he just said that he felt something the game beforehand, and Joe didn't want to risk it when the game was kind of out of the reach in the fourth quarter, and then he was thinking he'd be able to play in Game 7, came back the next day and felt something. I mean, for a guy that just came back from a ruptured Achilles, I mean, if there was anybody that wanted to play Game 7 probably more than him, it was going to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 2 years removed from winning a championship. Correct me if I'm wrong. They won in 24, right?
Yeah.
So it's not even like it feels like a while ago, but like if not for Tatum's Achilles injury last year, like Boston was looking like to gear up for a serious run at back-to-back NBA championships.
The series was already over by the time he got hurt.
Well, it was.
We lost.
The series was pretty much done at that point.
It was, but still, like Boston started that playoffs with a healthy Tatum and aspirations to try, like legit aspirations to try and repeat. It obviously didn't work out, but I wouldn't say like this whole idea of Tatum not being able to be healthy in like those big moments. I feel like just recently started after that Achilles injury. Like this isn't some and correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't some like career long thing where it's always like an Embiid or a Davis where it's like, oh, Tatum's out in a big moment again.
Here's the thing. I was going to real quick. Here's the thing with Tatum though, was like you said, and he said it best. You go 9-10 months, you don't play. And like I said, I love watching Jason Tatum. And it wasn't like, and I'm not ripping the Suggs when I say this, it wasn't like, hey, he's getting 10 minutes, 15. He even said, I'm going 30, 40 minutes. Oof. Like I'm almost back full throttle without just not even easing in. It's because they needed him that bad. So yeah. No, I think Tatum is a guy you trust.
I think regardless, I don't think we're going to beat. I mean, this is a kind of a terrible mindset to think, but even if we beat Philly, I don't think we were beating the Knicks kind of with the way that I think the Knicks match up very, very well on us. And if Tatum obviously was kind of dealing with something going into the next round, at least to a little bit of an extent, I don't know how effective he would be, especially with the Knicks just playing us last year in the playoffs. So they have a lot of wings, guys like OG, guys like McHale. They're going to be physical. And, if you go into another series like that, and Jason obviously is not feeling 100%. It could have lingered to make it worse, maybe. I don't know because we obviously don't know, but now it's going to come down to this offseason and what happens because it's just really hard to kind of take into fathom. But does the Jays get split up? I think there's a lot of people saying that. I don't think that's going to happen. But if there came to a situation where Derek White got traded, I could definitely see Derek White getting traded. Right. And people are saying the Celtics are going to take a push at Giannis. It's like the Knicks saying the same thing too. It's big market type of things. I don't unless they go for Jaylen Brown and maybe a couple of first. Like Brown, I think is going to do something. Especially after what happened, he's going to use this series for sure as fuel. Because any Celtics fans are not going to tolerate what just happened. I mean, they were a better team and they just pissed their pants. It was like the Yankees against the Red Sox in 04 ALCS. So we pretty much. And the crazy thing too is David is that Philly with the Flyers in 2010 on the Bruins too. Like it had just kind of pitching themselves away, and it sucks because I think that Boston really never kind of feels a lot of those type of choke jobs, at least in a long time. But we had that. We had the Red Sox just being terrible. Of course, I've been speaking in my mind on hitting for the cycle. And then UConn obviously was a national championship. Like, I just don't think that this year has been for me. And I said that maybe just the devil saw how much I experienced beforehand and just put it right in my ass because it's like, wow,
yikes.
what happened here?
Well, but the thing too with the Celtics too is they live and die by the three. They really,
I mean, it's obviously it's a Joe specialty. I mean, they happen in the championship, but it's a variance type of thing. What I don't get to is their starts to these games that last from 5 to 7. Game 6 was terrible start. Game 7, terrible start. And just putting that starting lineup of Harper and Garza, Harper, and I mean Baylor I thought was decent, but like you didn't go to Keita to start the game, but Keita obviously is terrible in foul trouble defensively. So he obviously came in. He obviously gave us a little spark. Hugo Gonzalez was great, but nobody had an answer for Embiid. That was the biggest problem. When you had Al Horford for the Celtics, Al Horford was, I wouldn't say the stopper to him, but he was able to limit the certain type of things that Embiid could do. So that was obviously a big type of thing. And then just like, I mean, Nick, I'll say this in terms of your Knicks, of course, coming up. Like this Philly team, you know, I think you guys are better than them like we were. But I'll say just can't take them lightly. Can't put your feet off the gas on this team. Because they clearly bit us in the ass for this series, which hurts. It really hurts.
Philly fans think they were going to win which series in dominating fashion? The Knicks or the Celtics? They're underdogs in both series.
Yeah, but
I'm just
no. What I'm saying is, I just for Knicks fans' perspective of things, kind of like with the way we were thinking. We're both obviously were the favorites, kind of coming in, but I think Philly is now looking at this overall type of thing. They're starting to have an Embiid that feels himself big time. And, you know, I think, you know, Maxey and VJ are problems. I mean, they were also shooting the ball crazy. Paul George just turned back the clock, apparently, this whole entire series. Like Indiana, Paul George is drove me nuts. Yeah. So, I mean.
Playoff P.
And he was 6, supposedly.
And he was his birthday yesterday, too, and he had crazy amount of shots on us, too. It sucked. The fact that we were right there at the end, too, we had 3 missed threes that were open looks to take the lead. It never happened. So it was soul crushing. It was so crushing. I literally woke up today. I couldn't sleep last night. It was bad. I've been pretty bad recently, folks, but I'll be right.
All right. Kim, so there is a question I have for everybody. Which city had the better weekend? Was it New York or Minneapolis?
New York.
New York.
Has to be New York. I think so.
I think they won the draft. I think they're still riding the high of the Giants, at least, had the best draft. I think the Giants are still riding the high of the best offseason of any team in the National Football League this offseason, of course. And then on top of that, you get the Knicks advancing and just an amazing blowout win. And I know it's not exactly in New York, but I mean, if you want to kind of wrap Buffalo into the
Buffalo is not New York.
Well, the state of New York.
It's in the state of New York, but it's not New York City.
Yeah,
the question I said was New York. Which city had it better, New York or Minneapolis?
Okay. I'd still lean towards New York, though. Minneapolis, though, is a close second.
I call it tie.
Tie?
Yeah, because New York had the big clinching win. What else? And then Minnesota beat Denver.
I gotta say, yeah. Here's the thing:
they're going to lose to San Antonio, so it's
hard to. Here's the thing, though: it's hard to look at New York and put it in one box in the same way you can with Minneapolis because there's multiple teams in New York. So, say Yankee Giant fans are not the same people as, say, Met Jet fans. So it's a little hard to like really narrow it down. I would say Minneapolis, though, had the better weekend.
Yeah,
I think.
And
look, go ahead.
I was saying they also didn't have Edwards and DiVincenzo.
That's what I was saying. They didn't have Edwards or DiVincenzo, and they still managed to beat the Nuggets when they weren't supposed to. That is way better than the Knicks blowing out the Hawks. Now, of course, it's great that the Knicks won the way that they did against the Hawks, but they were supposed to beat the Hawks. Minnesota was not supposed to beat Denver. That's why it matters. So that's why it's so much better for Minneapolis.
Yeah.
But I think they reached like their ceiling though. Like Knicks are like they just won the series and are looking forward to going even farther and winning their next series. Like Minnesota, they got their series win. I think that's great. But then you just kind of hit a wall where you're like, your spirits kind of get crushed when you then think about the fact that you have to go up against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs next without Ant. Like, I think you're just kind of thinking like, well, we got here, but I don't think we get any farther as to where the Knicks are really looking to build a run.
But here's the other thing, though. The flip side is also that the Timberwolves are playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. If you lose to the Spurs, all right, you weren't supposed to beat the Spurs. The Knicks have everything to lose. If the Knicks lose this series to the Sixers, there are going to be some difficult conversations in the front office.
Does that look better for or worse for the Knicks or better for the Sixers if that series goes towards Philadelphia? Is the storyline more, Philly's on a run? Because they would have beaten the 2 seed and the 3 seed.
I think it probably looks worse for the Knicks.
Yeah,
it would be the same. It would be the same like us, to be honest, for the Knicks, because the Knicks have had usually pretty good success against Philly too. But if they beat New York and us back-to-back series, I mean, it could be crazy.
That's why I think when you put it like that, that's why I think it begins to just be like Philadelphia is just playing like really good ball right now. Because if it would be one thing if that was the first round matchup with the Knicks and the Sixers won, kind of how everyone's saying it looks more bad on Boston. It's not really being accredited to Philly. I feel like if they win 2 straight series as the 7 seed after being in the play-in, then you can't just fully attribute it to the other team selling and not playing well. Like it reminds me a little bit of like the 2023 Heat. Like we got to a point where it was like the Heat, it's not just their or the teams they're going up against are playing bad and selling. Though that Heat team was playing good, they ultimately lost in the finals. I'm not saying the Sixers are going to do that, but I'm saying I don't think it'll be fully on the Knicks.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, just real quick. No reason why Minnesota was better than New York this weekend. I was wrong. They had 3 guards down. Dosumnu was out too with a calf injury.
Yeah.
So you have 3 guards down, and you had Jaden McDaniels, who I think one time was a former 76er, had the game of his life as well. So that's, like I said, so I know you said there's a couple of game time, but that to me says, that whole thing with Minnesota have a better weekend than New York. And the other thing I wondered too about New York, say they get bounced by Philly. I've been thinking about this. There's been that rumor about Steve Kerr. If Golden State ever got rid of him, do you think he'd go to the Knicks? Do you think do you think Dolan would give him what he wants to be the coach of the Knicks to get him over the top?
Well, not if ESPN has their way, because I read that ESPN is trying to convince Steve Kerr to leave the Warriors and come back to broadcasting, working for them.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's leaving Golden State. I think it's just he got his time, 4 rings. That whole thing with him and Draymond and everything else, I wanted to like go somewhere and get a breather.
Yeah. Kind of get away from it all, pretty much.
New start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some team will make him the highest paid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What is it?
I know you guys are big hockey people, but I'm watching this Wild Colorado game.
I have it on.
It's 5-5, almost into the end of the second period.
Oh God!
I got the Wild are my guys. I got winning the West. I was talking about this with Connor. I got the Wild betting on them to win the West. So I'm stressing over this game too.
It's absolutely insane. Like I've been talking to you guys for pretty much about like an hour or so. I probably seen about like 3-4 goals by now. Just nuts.
Yeah, my team's the Golden Knights. They're playing the Ducks tomorrow, so.
Yeah, I mean, with my team, I said we use the term house money. I mean, they're playing against Carolina, who I picked to go to the picked the Stanley Cup Finals.
They probably will. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about my hockey team.
I mean,
I don't either.
Colorado is such a wagon in terms of just like offensively, and they got all these vets and whatever else. I have like it went, but I've been watching this game. They were up at 1 point 4-1. Yeah. So, and then Tampa got knocked out there. That was a crazy game. Montreal's had 9 shots on goal for the game. Were outshot 29-9 and won 2-1, knocked out Tampa.
Wow.
Yeah,
Montreal won that. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and now there's talk
Montreal.
they're wondering what's going on with Tampa. 3rd straight year you're knocked out in the first round. Like they made it sound like there were at one point somebody saying, well, maybe they're going to fire the coach. I'm like, if they fire Cooper, they are absolutely stupid in Tampa. It'll just be player changing.
It's crazy to think, like, we talk about dynasties. This isn't one team, but, like, the state of Florida dominating hockey, I think that dynasty is finally done. It was the Lightning for a few years. Then it was the Panthers.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be the first – will this be the first time since 2019 that either Tampa or Florida hasn't been in the Cup final?
Possibly.
I mean, 2021, 22 were all Tampa because that was their back-to-back, and then they lost to Colorado. And I'm pretty sure the last 3 all had Florida in it. They lost to
Vegas.
They lost to
Vegas,
and then beat Edmonton twice. So this will be the first time since this decade that a Florida team won't be representing the Eastern Conference Finals or the Eastern Conference in the championship, which is kind of crazy.
Feels weird.
See, I think Florida's going to return next year. I don't know about Cup Finals, but I think they were just so beat up. And their main issue this offseason is going to be Bobrovsky. He's unrestricted, but he's also 36, 37. But I think they were just banged up from the start of the season, never recovered fully. I think they'll be back next year in terms of like playoffs and stuff.
Yeah.
Did anybody see this tweet from Awful Announcing?
I have it locked and loaded.
Okay. I was just wondering.
I thought it was
just curious. It's the gone fishing thing, and you have Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini doing like Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet from Titanic. Oh.
Yeah, you got that.
I think I'm of the mindset of like a lot of other people is make it stop, please.
I have that going on between the 2 exits on my other team and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
What do we think is going to happen, by the way, with Vrabel? Do you think he'll define go away, or do you think he's?
Wait, I have it right here. I have it right here. Whoops. Hold on.
We got the Boston Celtics, who, after being knocked out by the Philadelphia 76ers, you got our fishing. I see our buddy Bill Simmons in there, John Krasinski, Mark Wahlberg. I don't know if you stop it.
Is that Matt Damon? Is that like Goodwill Hunting Matt Damon back there?
That's all I see on that boat. I don't see anything else. I didn't see and that's a wrap for Inside the NBA here on ESPN for Kenny and Chuck. And
all right. Whoops. All right, there we are.
Wow, God.
We're back.
Barkley with the fishing pole is classic.
I thought it was. I love that Bill Simmons was on there.
I love that Goodwill Hunting Matt Damon was on there. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they would do that.
Oh yeah,
in the NBA, you gotta love it.
Oh God, they're the best. They've been doing these gone fishings for years.
But I love the Titanic meme with like the whole Titanic thing with Vrabel and Rossini. they just had to add that.
Oh yeah, that was the icing on the cake. I love whoever added that detail.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's just what it. I don't know. Like there's not much more to add to that, but we all agree
just funny.
Inside the NBA. Yeah. Wait, David, were you saying something about Vrabel?
Yeah, I just wonder. Like,
yeah,
I was just asking the panel here. Is like, what do you think is going to finally happen with this? Do you think it's finally going to go away? He just goes to coach, or do you think New England would ever like just say we're just going to fire him because of whatever else?
If he was like a 3 or 4 win head coach, maybe, but no, he's too successful.
Right.
Too good of a coach for them to fire him over this.
Right. I'm thinking the same way, but I think he's just probably just looking forward to training camp beginning. He probably can't wait just to kind of.
I can't have another shit show thing going on, David, after what's happened.
Yeah, well, look, it's been a rough time for you, Ben.
Yes.
I know, Nick.
Boston sports fan with all.
But nobody feels bad, which is fine.
No,
we
trust
feel
me.
bad.
No, I'm not. You don't have to feel bad. I'm not saying don't be. I'm just stating the fact.
They just have hit a valley, the city of Boston, but they'll hit a peak, down the road. I mean, trust me. Trust me. I've seen my sports teams do that whole thing. Like going like this, then you go up. So it happens. It's just,
Another story I wanted to talk about is Diego Pavia is going to the Ravens. He signed as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it makes sense that he would end up going. Look, I didn't think he wouldn't end up on a team. He's way too talented to just not be on an NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's not going to do anything though. With the Ravens, it's not like when Lamar probably inevitably gets injured because that's just been his thing he's done. He just gets injured and misses time. Yeah, it'll be nice to have a Pavia, but is he really going to win you games? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, he's not even going to be playing that much. So
yeah, unless, like I said, odds are if you were to bet on it every year, Lamar's probably going to get injured just with how much he moves around the pocket and uses his legs and gets hit. His play style creates more injuries for himself than he needs. So odds are every year, Lamar's probably going to miss some games. So it doesn't hurt to have a good backup, but is Diego Pavia really going to do that much? Over I don't know, Tyler Huntley or whoever?
Right. There's two issues for me with Pavia. His height and his arm strength.
Yeah.
He's 5'10", listed, and then his arm
probably shorter.
Yeah.
It's
he's
Tyler Murray part 2.
And I never remember him at Vanderbilt having this great arm. Ever.
No. He had very good legs. Moved very well.
Jeez.
But didn't have a great arm, no.
Right.
Which is why do the Ravens consistently gravitate towards those style of quarterbacks, especially if they're looking for backups? Their backups have always been Robert Griffin or Tyler Huntley and now Pavia.
Yeah.
It's why is it always a guy, just an escapability guy? That's how you've had your offense built for the longest time around Lamar. I get it, but you ever stop to think that maybe it doesn't really work that well for you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what the owner and the GM in terms of that style quarterback. I'm just saying that could be it.
Yeah, I probably because they tend to be more similar to Lamar Jackson. I don't think that's I don't think that's the reason why. I just think they figured he was a good option. Yeah. That was really all it was. I mean, he's not going to play that much, so not much is going to end up happening.
Right.
But if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, look, Pavia is still a pretty talented player, and I still think it makes sense. He's probably only going to play in maybe 1 or 2 games, might not even start. So I think it makes sense that they would end up signing him as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, I guess you put him in practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, he's good enough for that.
Right.
You're not handing the keys of the franchise to him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think that, I don't know. I think it makes, I kind of think it makes perfect sense that would, and that would end up happening.
And you also have a new coach this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. New. Well, we don't know how that's gonna work out for them. Jesse,
and they lost a lot of guys. They lost a lot of guys. I don't think the Ravens are going to be too hot this year. I think, Lamar and Henry will still win them games, but Henry's just getting older and older and older. Lamar is
at his best.
Lamar is still a good quarterback, but he is not playing his MVP level. I think.
No, he's not.
These last few years, or not last few, I guess. Last year and then, year before, he was still in talks for MVP. So I guess you really say last year. But it's the way he played last year and combine that with the injuries, I think the general perception of Lamar right now is that his best years are behind him and that, he might get close but won't really, get all the way back up to that MVP level. So it's combine that with an old Derrick Henry and a defense that was already beat up and not so good, and the fact that you lost a bunch of guys, I just don't think the Ravens are really going to have anything going for them this year.
No.
He took a lot more sacks this past year too, and I don't know if it was because he was going through something, because there was a couple of times, we played them in December. There was he left the game early on, I remember. But it's just crazy, like, because I always remember, like, his escape mobility was always really, really good. And just this year, he just took a lot more sacks than he's ever had been. So I think maybe he was kind of going through something, but also maybe too, like you mentioned, Nate, that maybe he's just not the same guy he once was. And I still think that like a 75% Lamar, I think, is a very serviceable quarterback.
Yeah. True.
But I don't think he maybe is at the elite status as before.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd still take him. Better than having.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if you're the Ravens, it's not like, I don't know how you could be a Ravens fan and legitimately think, like, everyone's talking about waiting for Lamar to get to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's really that feasible in the next 2 or 3 years, especially with how good the AFC is right now, or how, like, I wouldn't say good, but like, there's a lot of teams that
the NFC was better last year.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that I think are more competitive in the AFC. NFC is most definitely a better conference, but it's not going to be like a cakewalk for the Ravens to get a wild card spot or win the division. Like, they're going to have to battle, and I just don't know if they're able to answer the call.
It's not a cakewalk for any team winning their division, I would say. I mean, it's not even going to be a cakewalk for the Bills to win their division. And
no, there isn't.
The Ravens are still probably the odds-on favorites to win the AFC North.
Right.
And if you look at, I mean, yeah, the Steelers are a bit of a threat, but they tend to fall apart late in the season. They can never get their offense right. If you look at a team like
new head coach as well, though.
That too.
But who knows what that? But that's still, new head coach. But still,
it's the same amount of like up in the airness that Baltimore has.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you have the Bengals, but Joe Burrow never stays healthy, and the organization is a dumpster fire. Their defense is terrible every year.
Their defense is god awful. Yeah, the Ravens are minus 135 to win the division. Bengals are plus 200. Steelers are plus 650. Browns are plus 2,000. I don't know why the books always have such faith in the Bengals at the beginning of the year. Like, anything's going to change. Every game's going to be 42-36 again for Cincinnati, and they're going to win almost half of them. Like, that's what their season is.
If half.
If that. Like, all they did was replace Trey Hendrickson with Dexter Lawrence and do nothing else for the rest of their defensive unit. Have they not learned that they can't just score 1 million points and sustainably win? Like, you need to stop the other team too, Cincinnati. I don't think they figured that out.
No, they got to build up that O-line to protect Burrow from getting his ass beat.
That too. Like, I think Burrow's going to want to get out of there sooner.
I believe it.
I was going to say more than the defense. I think the protection is the biggest flaw for this overall team. Because it's the line of scrimmage that, in terms of if you can be successful throughout a season, and if you can't protect him, I mean, this is what's been going on with him. He can't stay out there on the field. It's not because of his fault per se. It's a lot more because of his protection.
Yeah. The issue too this year with Baltimore and more than anything else with Lamar is just who he throws to.
Yeah.
Flowers is fine. After
you
that,
lost
it kind of goes like this.
Yeah.
I think likely it was kind of a low-key big loss for him.
Yeah. I mean, Bateman had a bad year last year, and then their third one. They were going to have a third wideout. I mean, really, it's a competition this year with training camp. So.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's ETB Lounge this week. We'll be back next week at the same time for another edition of ETB Lounge. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you guys then.
Hey, yeah.
See ya.